Is it going to go live? There it is. Finally, it goes live. Hi, everyone.
Oh wait, I see the button still says go live. There we go.
There it is.
Yeah, so that
Hi.
game looks good. Shockingly good. Never would have expected that.
What? Perfect Dark not looking good? Why wouldn't it look good?
Because it's had such a development hell that it's like you see a trailer, and not just that, but you see like an actually well edited trailer that shows cutscene and gameplay together.
Yeah,
We've seen multiple trailers for other games that don't show as much as they showed off of that game.
exactly.
But to actually watch it and get a sense of like, oh, that's like got kind of the immersive sim open world of Dishonored, mixed with
Right.
some parkour of Mirror's Edge,
Right.
mixed with some stealth from Splinter Cell,
Yep.
mixed with just some first person shooting, and you actually brought all that together in a thing that actually looks compelling. There's even bullet time from like Fear and Max Payne. And it's like, oh shit, that actually looks like a cohesive
That,
whole.
that looks like a good game.
Like games that go through troubled development history shouldn't look that good. And
Right.
granted, maybe it's just a good trailer, but I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I just assumed Perfect Dog would like come and go and be like, yeah,
It's a game.
yeah, it's like it's not bad, but it's like it's 6 or 7 out of 10. But
If
shit,
it delivers with what I saw in that trailer, if it can hold together as well as it looks like it holds together, that could be like, I don't want to say the sleeper hit, but given the
no, it's
rest of
not
the
sleeper at all.
not sleeper, but given what I saw of a lot of games coming out this year that have had far more hype already, this one might actually be the one that overtakes them all if it can deliver on what it showed.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is that it's next year.
Yeah.
A lot of the cool stuff at the Xbox showcase was next year.
Yeah.
That's not to say that I I guess we'll jump into that
Do
news.
we wanna just bypass everything? Let's just hit the music right now
Sure,
and do the
because
intro, and then we'll just I mean, we could talk about what we played, but it's pointless because there is so much to talk
there's a
about with
lot,
all of
and
this.
at the end, I'll show off what I've been working on.
Okay,
Or do
alright.
you wanna see that now?
No, 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 we'll see that at the
No?
end. That's the
Okay.
bonus content. Alright.
Okay.
So let's hit the music.
This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode, what is it? 719. We're recording this on Sunday, June 9th, 2024. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola. And yeah, we're just starting this because honestly, there is so much to talk about that we can't not talk about it at this point.
Yeah. And also the Xbox thing was this morning. It's
Right.
like the closest we've got to breaking news.
Yeah, exactly. Especially these days. Hi, how is everybody? How you doing? So yeah, it is if you weren't already aware, it is I mean, we've got to have another name for it other than E3 season, but it's E3 season.
No, it's E3 season.
And E3
E3
doesn't exist,
E3
but the
E3 is
timelines
dead.
continues after its existence.
E3 is dead, but we rename this month in its honor
Yeah.
to give respect to all the
That
showcases
show did
and
that.
events that came
E3
before.
deserves no respect, none whatsoever. They failed on many levels, but it is a good season for news. Hey, AC Wraith, we have AC Wraith in the chat room. I guess we call him community manager.
Yeah.
Our faithful toady. You're not our toady. We love you. But so yeah, let's talk about stuff like what the last 2 days have been kind of announcement-rific, especially this morning because we had the Xbox showcase this morning. Yesterday we had the
Summer Game Fest.
Summer Game Fest, right? Later on today, I believe we have something else. Do we have a state of play? or is it Ubisoft? Somebody.
Ubisoft is either
Devolver, I think, is
either today or
today.
tomorrow. No, Devolver was yesterday.
Today was yesterday. Okay,
Yeah,
just tons. I mean, it's essentially E3,
yeah. There's a
digital
lot,
E3.
except it's harder to keep track of things because they're spread out.
Right. And also it's harder to schedule it into your day because, you have to schedule it into the rest of your life as opposed to when we would go to E3 and it was just like, okay, we're
Yeah,
down there in a hotel room. What are we going to do now? Okay, then here's our schedule. At 2:00 we're going to here. And then 3:00 we're going to here. And then at 4:00 we're going there. And then at 7:00 is this big party and we're going to get drunk. And then at 9:00 we're going to this other party. All that stuff doesn't happen anymore. AC Ray said, I just posted in Discord about how the news sites have given up on stating what was announced, either a few highlights or a link to the live stream to the stream.
but
I know.
I
Yes.
sent you the same link that they don't. Xbox, Kotaku, and IGN both had articles that I'm using for reference of here's everything that was announced.
Yeah. And then of course there's my way of doing it, old school.
Oh yeah, no, I just use the websites.
Come on, I live for notes. I live for making notes. So how do we want to do this? Do we want to talk about yesterday or we want to talk about today?
I want to talk about today because I actually
All
came
right.
out of today. I came out of the Summer Games Fest going like, that's some
Yeah,
cool stuff.
that's how I felt about it too.
But I came out of the Xbox Showcase going like, oh shit, that was actually impressive.
Yeah, there's
My
a bunch of
expectations-
really good looking stuff.
My expectations were low,
Mhm.
but like there's exceeding the expectations, and then there was like, oh, this actually felt like a showcase from the E3 days.
It
With
did, didn't
a
it?
number of big games showing off in a row. It's like, oh, this actually felt like the olden times.
Yeah, it did. It was a very, very, very powerful
If anything,
showing.
like 2025 is looking
Mhm.
really, really good for Xbox.
Yeah, it is.
And now my prediction for the next like year and a half of Xbox discourse is, oh, Xbox now has the games, but is their hardware and like business policy already fucked them so much that now the games won't matter? Or will the games actually prop up their whole like shift to streaming, digital, whatever?
Well,
It's
you
like,
saw, you
you
saw
have
the
a,
announcement about the hardware, right?
yes, yes.
Okay.
But like now before you had changing business policies with no real big games to like support that.
Mhm.
Now you have games to support that, or in theory you do. Will that be enough?
Right.
But yeah, anyway, as for the games themselves, they showed off a Call of Duty trailer that actually looked kind of cool and kind of made me interested in Call of Duty for the first time in years.
Yeah, the Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, here's kind of a interesting espionage action movie. Right? It's like, oh, you got some conspiracies. It looks like there's kind of a heist thing going on.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, neat.
Yeah, and I'm let me pull that up. Sorry. By the way, Chris just texted us. Not that Chris. Chris Fighter Race. I just told him, "Hey, we need to talk in a couple of hours, dude."
Really? I don't have anything.
Well, he probably just texted me because I'm more important. So there we go. Sorry. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. All right, so I'm pulling up the trailer that you had today. Okay. All right. So this is the Black Ops Direct. It does look good. I am actually very interested in it. Had to leave. I had to go get some breakfast before I watched the whole thing, but I saw a couple of the announcements. What stood out for you as far as that trailer?
It's just kind of like the larger tone of it. Yeah, this is I think this is the showcase, which is all them talking about it. But when it was just the trailer, it just kind of had, like I said, it looked a little less serious because in the past couple games they've been like the Modern Warfare stories,
Right.
which is the remake of that series, and it's been, you know, a an over-the-top military action movie, but it's been a very serious over-the-top military action movie.
Right.
And this one, it looks like it's kind of having a bit more fun with the tone by presenting kind of a heist situation, kind of a bit of a conspiracy situation, which is what Black Ops has always been.
Mhm.
But I think after all the Modern Warfares, that little bit lighter tone comes off a lot better.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to pull up this actual trailer so we can enjoy it together.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm reservedly excited, but also it's Call of Duty. I freaking hate Call of Duty. I hate Call of Duty with the white hot heat of 1,000 suns. So it's hard for me to be enthusiastic about it.
I don't hate it. I just kind of fell off of it as someone that, kind of did the multiplayer sporadically, but was mainly in it for the campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
You play a bunch of those in quick succession, and it's like, okay, I've been Call of Duty'd out. But the advantage of this one, look, I can sign up for a month of Game Pass, and by that point, I'll probably be able to play Avowed and Indie, and like, hey, check out Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So it's like the buy-in is very low.
True. You're already there for other reasons, and this is just added bonus. Okay, so yeah, that impressed you, and we were already I didn't write down everything, but I wrote down most things. I would say that the big, if you're gonna pick a, oh, you just turned off your mic. You're silent. Nope, still don't have you.
There we go.
There we go. So I would say if there's going to be a big winner of the Xbox showcase, it was 80s soundtracks.
Mm.
There were a lot of games with 80s soundtracks, and I'm not complaining one little bit. I think it's awesome. In fact, there was one game that it's literally the game. The game is about soundtrack.
Yeah, it's
the
called
80s soundtracks.
Mixtape.
Mixtape. And I don't know what it is, but I'm curious.
It's like a coming of age adventure game.
Uh-huh.
Like it kind of gave me Life is Strange vibes.
Exactly. And I was watching it and thinking, "Oh, it reminds me so much of Life is Strange." And yet there is another Life is Strange that was announced as well, coincidentally. I thought maybe it was a skateboarding game when I first heard it. I'm like, "Okay, well, that makes sense." But then there's also much more to it. It seems to be leaning into the zeitgeist of being a teenager in the 80s, which very much speaks to me. 'Cause that was me. That was my age. I was that age in those times when those songs were being played, and they're fantastic. And I wish I could turn them on right now and have you listen to them, but then we would all get banned for, copyright strikes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm not quite sure what this game is, but it's a game.
It looks cool.
I'm not yeah, it's it definitely, it says 2025. I'm not sure what it is, but the soundtrack's gonna be amazing. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be, like I said, kind of a Life is Strange-esque choice-driven adventure game. But I
it
kind of
seems weird to be doing that when they announced that Life is
Another Life is
Strange Double
Strange?
Exposure, a new Life is Strange is going to
Well,
be arriving in
because
October.
you have
October
Life is
29th.
Strange,
Mhm.
and then this is coming out about a year apart, it seems.
Yeah.
And also you've got Life is Strange, and then you've got people trying to copy Life is Strange.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so. But it definitely piqued my interest when I heard it. I'm like, oh God, this is speaking to me in ways that it won't speak to anybody else except people my age. So I'm definitely gonna be playing it.
Yeah, and AC Wraith, he was talking again before about how there weren't articles summing up all the events. There were a couple for the big ones, like the Summer Game Fest and Xbox Showcase, but not a lot for the smaller ones. Like he said, women-led games, Latin American games,
Right.
game show, wholesome games.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the case. So, Do we want to go over like a complete list or just hit the highlights?
I mean, I think the complete list is kind of the highlights, but
Right.
what were the other things that you wrote down? Because I have the list of everything, so I can fill in those
Okay.
blanks as we go.
I wrote Expedition 33, which
Yeah,
looks really, really interesting.
it looks a bit like kind of a Souls-like game, but yeah, I don't know. I'm digging it. It's got a
I'm
tone.
very much digging it.
It's got a tone and an atmosphere and a look that are unique. But
Hmm.
what's kind of unfortunate is that like it was a CG trailer, and what I've realized from years of watching these events is that if you see a CG trailer, that means the game's not coming out for another 2 years.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to forgetting that this game exists and
So
then
that you can be
seeing
pleasantly surprised about it later.
a gameplay trailer a year from now and going, "Oh yeah, that game."
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. But this looks really, really interesting to me. It was the first game that I wrote down that was like, oh, okay. Like there were other games that were announced previous to this that didn't make me go, ooh, this is the first ooh game that was announced.
Mhm.
But it's deep into the future, as we're not going to see that until 2025 or 2026. I'm guessing they didn't have a date on it, but I'm guessing that that's the case. But does that
Oh,
not look?
yeah.
That combat looks so cool.
Okay, that's right. My bad. It wasn't just the CG trailer. It
No,
looks like a JRPG.
it looks like a JRPG,
It's
but
it's a s it's a
not.
no, this is like absolutely 100% Final Fantasy X's combat system.
Yeah, but it also doesn't look like a JRPG.
Sure, it doesn't, but, like, mechanically, you've got 2 people lined up on the sides taking turns,
Yeah,
which has a fan of JRPGs, I'm like, "Yeah, give me more of
not
that."
okay. No, I'm okay with that. That's not a bad thing.
But again, I fully expect to forget about this game before it comes out,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is unfortunate because I would like to play it sooner.
yeah. Me too. So yeah, that's Expedition 33. The other one that also like came out of nowhere, and I had no idea that this was even a thing. But the more it's like, what is this? And the more I watched it, the more interesting it became. Was South of Midnight.
Mm.
Um, I had no idea, not heard a word one of this game.
Oh, I remember when Xbox announced it, like, last year or 2 years ago, um, but this is the first time we've kinda seen it in action, and it's interesting to see, like, oh, it's a character action game. Like,
Yeah,
it's a pretty standard, Devil May Cry-esque, God of War-esque.
yeah.
You're gonna explore a 3D environment as a third person. You're gonna get into combat arenas and fight bosses.
It almost when I first saw it, I'm like, this gives me the feelies of Beyond Good and Evil.
Mm,
In kind of like, because there was the protagonist, there is this companion, this non-human companion that seems
yeah.
to be helping you navigate this world. It's a fish instead of a pig, but it has that feeling to it, and I just kind of liked the rhythm of it. It felt good. Now I
Well,
will say
it
this
it
is that
also
if you ever want to see what kind of a toxic world we live in, do not well, if it bothers you to think about the toxic world we live in, I highly recommend you do not look at the comments at when of the showcase when that was announced.
Oh, sure, but no
Yeah,
one should pay
yeah,
attention to
if
that.
you ever wanna realize that how far we have not come, the comments were
Have you seen the
horrific.
world and American culture outside of video games? You
Yeah,
don't need to look at video game news to
yeah,
see that.
yeah, but
But
it's never more apparent with when you've got, you know, emboldened white young
you
men.
well, yes, yeah. In a game that stars a black lady.
Yeah, a gay that stars a black woman,
Um,
absolutely.
but what I think is really impressive about this was in that short conversation of her riding the fish, you got actually a lot of personality out of them. That
Mhm.
fish, I like that fish. I want to
Very
listen to that fish
distinct.
talk.
Very distinct feeling, very distinct place and time. Yeah, yeah,
And
you do.
I like how they're playing with frame rates. because in the cutscenes, like the fish and her, they look kind of stop motion esque. They're moving at a slower frame rate than the world around them, and
I saw that. I
that gives
thought
it
it might
just
have been
a
something like a bug, but
no.
apparently
That's
it's
a
not.
style,
That's it.
which is cool. As someone who grew up watching the Ray Harryhausen stuff,
Mhm.
I want to see more of that effect. I think that's cool.
Yep.
Also, a lot of interesting traversal abilities. But so at this part of the trailer, they show her just kind of running straight through and jumping and like flying over this water. I watched it and I was like, no one's going to do that. Everyone's going to go to the left to explore what's over there. Everyone's going to go to the right to see what's over there. It's like, but this is an open world. I'm going to explore all the corners. And then after an hour, I'm going to go to the clock tower.
Yeah. Open world was another big winner for this showcase because there's so much open world stuff.
hmm
So much open world stuff now.
Which I feel like is kind of par for the course.
Yep.
But yeah, South of Midnight. I'm surprised that you haven't mentioned Dragon Age.
I haven't mentioned Dragon Age for a very good reason.
Hmm. It did nothing for you?
It did beyond nothing for me. It made me realize that I don't want to play that game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What
It
was it
did
about the
It did not feel like a Dragon Age game. It felt like a hero shooter.
I mean, but it's not a hero shooter.
Do I?
Yes. Like it's an RPG.
Do I?
If it was a hero shooter, we would have heard about that by now.
You can have an RPG that feels like a hero shooter. And I could
Okay,
see them
okay.
because they probably wanted
True.
to do they wanted to be a live service. You know that. They scrapped multiple versions of this game that were like that we all know were some of the best game was like many people that worked on some of the ones that were thrown away said this was the best game they ever worked on. This was the best game they ever did. And those games were scuttled because they wanted it to be a live action or live service game. The fact that now live service in many ways is a dirty word, I could absolutely see them turn around and say, okay, well, we're going to back off most of the live service stuff, but we're going to keep the game. Well, that's Gears.
Oh, no, yeah, that's Gears. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
No, put mine up.
All right. Oh, there we go. Yeah. This doesn't feel like a Dragon Age game. It may have just been an error in is it choppy? Is it really choppy for you guys as well? Or is it
could
just
be choppy. Maybe I'll
Okay, now I'll just remove you and put it on mine because mine I can pull up. Come on, silly goose.
You could just go to mine with its 720p. It's okay.
No, it's not that it's no, I don't want it lower thing. What was the name of it? Dragon Age. It's no longer
Dreadwolf.
Dreadwolf.
It is
It's now the Veil Guard. Okay.
Which they've said because they want to, move the focus to your party instead of the bad guy.
I agree.
And
Solus was not anything that I found terribly compelling, to be quite honest. So I'm kind of glad they've abandoned the whole like we're making it all about Velis because I did not find
I imagine he's still the villain. It's just they changed the name of the game.
Right.
But like you talk about it being kind of a hero shooter, I imagine the introductions of all these characters, the BioWare games were kind of always known for their group, right? It's the typical D&D thing. You have your party. They're introducing all the party members. And if it feels like a hero shooter, I think that just kind of goes to show how much like the hero shooter marketing has tried to ape these other games. And what I think the backlash to Conquered is a lot of people seeing those heroes and then realizing it's a hero shooter. We're probably not going to get any of this actual character development and story content that these trailers are promising us.
Right.
With this trailer, and granted, I say that as someone who's still like, I expect this. I'm not having high hopes for this game.
I don't have high hopes for this game at all.
But
I
that's
have
not
far
because of the
fewer
trailer.
high hopes than I had for it before they actually showed me that trailer.
Like I think it's an interesting trailer to just focus on your party, like a D&D game.
Right. I don't know that is exactly how I even feel that it's even a D&D game at this point. It did not feel like a Dragon Age game. This was not a Dragon Age trailer. This was a trailer for a different game that had a character from Dragon Age.
Hmm.
So I'm let me look at this. This is not Dragon Age. Dragon Age was an epic story. This is more about like you running around with your party, which is not a bad thing, but
That's also what Dragon Age was.
no, but it was also a very important story. It was quest and mission driven. It was driven by the stories, and the characters inhabited those stories, inhabited those worlds. This feels like a party in a world, and you inhabit the party. And that's not what that's not a Dragon Age game. Dragon Age is about a story, and they seem to have forgotten it. That it's so much about a story that they actually wrote a fantasy novel and released it before the original game. That's how this is so story driven. And this gave me no story whatsoever. This gave me, hey, fighty, and here's your heroes.
I mean, part of that I think is just how trailers work, right? Like with movies at least. And granted, sometimes you don't get this with games, like with Perfect Dog, as we're talking about, which kind of showed you a lot for the first time. A lot of times, what movies do is they put out the first trailer that's like the vibes trailer.
Right. And that's not the vibe. Exactly. That's not the right vibe. That is not the right vibe for Dragon Age.
If you're upset like with the kind of casual Honor Among Thieves style vibes,
right.
That's fair, because that trailer is trying to sell that vibe for the game. But I do think before the game comes out, you will get a more story-focused trailer.
They said that they had it announced on that thing that June 11th is they're going to show gameplay.
Yes,
I am reserving my pessimism for the most part, but it definitely lowered my hopes that this was going to be. I mean, my hopes were my expectations were low to start off with, given the development hell it has been in. But my hopes were that I would be pleasantly surprised. That was dashed today. So now they even have a harder time to convince me that this is my game. That I'm going to want to continue being as passionate about this IP as I have been. I am fully convinced that they have lost their way. And it has been essentially created by committee. And the committee is made of widget salesmen, not of people that actually are part of the game. Like been there for the game. Edie's not alone. There we go. See? Can you pull that up? I would really, really, really like to see what other people are saying. But this is not my game. This is somebody else's Dragon Age. In fact, I'll name it. Dragon Age, somebody else's game. Not mine. Yeah, pull that up. I want to see what the comments were on Reddit.
I've got to find. I can't just click that link. What is it? It's an R Games Dragon Age official reveal trailer. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately I can't copy, so there we go.
Yeah. People say it has.
No, pull it up. Put it up on your screen. I want to see it.
It's a little whimsical.
It seems like it was all about like, hey, action. It's like, no. I mean, Dragon Age was about story. It was about an epic story of this world. This world being destroyed.
If you remember, like the leaked gameplay footage, it looked like an action game.
Is it me or just look very cartoony? Exactly.
Yeah, trailer gives a very whimsical vibe.
we'll go back. If they had
If they had
repeatedly delivered,
repeatedly
this isn't a
fight.
live service multiplayer Skinner box, then going off this trailer alone, I would have absolutely assumed that this is a live service multiplayer Skinner box. Yes, exactly.
Which again, I feel like is the nature of the, character. That's what
Mhm.
character live service games do. I get why they give that vibes because it's just a different way of selling.
I don't know what it was about this trailer, but I felt that this was extremely disappointing. The tone, the vibes, the feel of the trailer felt off. This felt like a reveal of some new competitive hero shooter, not the reveal of a highly anticipated decade in development sequel of a BioWare franchise. Just totally different stylistically. Where's the BioWare drama? The gravitas. It felt so goofy and unserious. And then next
Which
commenter, very modern game, the game vibes.
which although
Exactly what I
let's
just
take
said.
a step back. Let's take a step back because let's kind of cut through the negative bullshit and let's look at this. Where's the BioWare drama? The gravitas. This felt so goofy and unserious. BioWare games are full of goofy and unserious bullshit.
Right,
You
but
remember
that is
you
an
were no,
overlay of a very, very serious game that the
but
world is going to be destroyed.
but to go to be like, oh, BioWare games, they have a serious story. There's such gravitas to them. They're not goofy at all. Fuck you.
No, they didn't say they're
The most
not goofy
memorable
at all.
part of a lot of those games are the goofiness. The goofiness is what sells the characters. Walking in on Bowl like in bed with the main character, the whole
Yes,
party, that's
yes,
great. More than
yes,
singing Stephen
absolutely.
Sondheim musicals. Like
Absolutely. Right,
those are the
but
things you remember.
those are the goofiness about that's the stuff that made the characters, made your companions feel real, that there was an element of goofiness. But the underlying story was very, very serious, and you got none of that. It was about like, "Oh, we're
True.
gonna go
And
fight."
part of that is because I think this was not a story trailer, but I want to push back against this before it starts to become like a narrative. This like recontextualizing of Bioware games has dramatic, emotionally gravitas things.
It is, they were! Oh my god!
They were,
Dragon Age
but
Origins was incredibly heavy story.
I'm
Incredibly
saying
heavy story. There
this
were elements
this
of humor within it
there was a
that
lot of
have to be
humor.
there,
A lot of
but
humor, and I don't
not
want
the
people.
story. The story was not
No,
humorous. The
but
overall
people are
feeling was not
downplaying that.
humorous.
People are downplaying it. They're like trying to make it out that all of these classic Bioware games were just drama. And I want to call
Keep going. I wanna see what other people say.
I want to call out that bullshit because those games are goofy. And the moment you forget that is when the audience becomes like their own worst enemy. If you want a Bioware game, you need to like embrace some of the goofiness of the characters because that's what sold those early games.
No, no, no.
Yes. Yes.
If I didn't know Dragon Age already was, I'd assume this was a cheap, free-to-play hero shooter. How was this approved by marketing is beyond me. Waited 10 years for this? Yikes. Mhm.
Yeah, it's just people complaining about the tone.
Nope. I had low expectations before this, but this trailer was awful. It looked like a trailer from a hero shooter.
A lot of
Age
hero
Veilguard.
shooter.
There we go. Marvel Age Veilguard. That's what this is. What is this Skylanders looking shit? Where's my Dragon Age? Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
If I
just a
didn't
lot of people talking about the tone.
Yeah. It was just all wrong. So they did not do themselves any favors, let's just say. I mean, yes, I will be watching the gameplay trailer to make sure that this isn't as bad as I think it's going to be.
Yes.
But
And look, I'm not trying to defend it completely because I still think based on the development and based on my personal dislike of Inquisition, I genuinely feel like I've liked each iteration of the franchise less and less.
I will agree with you. I've liked each iteration of the franchise less and less, and I think that this might be the one where I just go, I don't like
Yes.
this franchise anymore.
I just feel like the thing is
They
a lot
fucked
of
up Mass Effect, and now they're fucking up Dragon Age, and it's just killing me because those are the two. only 2 IPs that I was like, these are my games. This is a game. This is like I would get a tattoo of these games. And I won't do it. I'm really glad I didn't tattoo them now.
Except you know what? You know what? Here's the thing.
I have no one to love. I have no one true love anymore.
Get that tattoo. Because do you know why? Those past 3 games are still there.
Those past 3 games are still there, but they've left me behind.
Here's the thing. Look, new iterations of something
an
that you
abusive
don't
boyfriend
like
is still
don't
abusive,
ruin.
even if he was the boyfriend you loved so much.
But
if he once
not
he
the
slaps
same.
you around the 3rd time,
That's a completely
then it's time to move on.
That's comparing apples and oranges. If someone puts out a new version or a new sequel to something that you don't like, it doesn't destroy the franchise. The previous stuff is still there, and
The
it's still
previous
good.
stuff is still there, but it's
what I also
like
wanna
being
say
in a marriage where you don't really love each other anymore, but you used to love each other and you stick around for the kids. That's what this is now, and I don't need to stick around for the kids.
Except the difference is that you can go back to those old games. You can't go back to those old feelings.
That's true. But
also,
I have tried to go back to those old games,
tone,
and they don't. The graphics and
the
everything.
point
really
that I
don't
want to
hold
make
up.
about the tone is that internet discourse is fucking stupid, and internet discourse generally latches on to one thing and like rides that negativity into the ground.
Chemo loves you. No, he doesn't. If there was ever any proof, although we will talk about the Assassin's Creed thing that was announced.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But he says the game might be fine. However, the point of the trailer is marketing. If they can't get these people excited, then they failed. The trailer has one damn job.
True.
AC Wright, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
But again, this whole like there's a level of like internet discourse that kind of immediately turns against that kind of lighthearted banter. What people say is like the Marvelification of things. There's like a knee-jerk turn against that I think is a lot of times unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you. Fine. I'm just saying I think a lot of fans, a lot of video game fans especially, want to hate things. They don't want to be excited.
No, I don't.
No, they are their own worst enemies.
Love this. You don't understand how much I want to love this game. I want to love it so much.
You do, but the larger community is its own worst enemy because the larger community, especially of individual franchises, reveres those old things so much and puts them oftentimes so much on so high of a pedestal that any new version of that fails their loyalty test, fails the test of things. And what that does is it prevents any community from moving on.
No, not at all. Not in the least. This game, the community is there. We just wanted more of that story.
Yeah,
and
see, I don't think so.
It's clear that they have changed that, and they were in the process of changing it anyway. Inquisition was my least favorite of them. So, but I stuck with it because it still felt like Dragon Age. Now it's like if you're going to iterate on that, well, first off, they haven't iterated on that. They've gone in a completely different direction. We know that because they scrapped the game that they already had in the can because they wanted to go take it in a different direction. So we know it's going in a different direction. And the thing is that different direction, at least from this Vibes trailer, which like AC Race had one job. It had one job to make us excited about this new direction. And it did exactly the opposite. It made everybody go, what game is this? This is a hero. This not. And even if I'm not saying that the game is like that, but I am saying that the trailer failed because it did that.
And that's fair. Like it's fair to criticize the trailer. And I
need to see the gameplay because the gameplay, if I see that gameplay and it is like that trailer, then we're dead. It's dead to me. It's dead. It's done. I'll never play another Dragon Age game ever.
Yeah. Which is why I think it's usually kind of really behooves a game to pair gameplay with
They were foolish not to put gameplay
with some
in with that
stuff.
trailer. If they were going to take that trailer in a whole such a vastly different direction than what the fans of this game expected, they needed to back it up with gameplay. They couldn't like say, "Oh, you're going to get gameplay in 2 days," because now it gives us 2 days to freak the fuck out that they've changed everything. This is not, you can't blame us for freaking out because they put out that trailer and they're waiting
No,
2
no, I'm
days.
not. I'm not blaming people for freaking out, but I am saying that I think a lot of the freak out is premature, and also that I think it's kind of a fascinating cultural snapshot, like marketing cultural snapshot. This idea that the character freeze frame name, character freeze frame name,
Borderlands.
that's
Borderlands. It's
but like
Borderlands.
that style has become so synonymous with live service character shooters that the moment it's used in something that's not a live service character shooter, everyone's
Right.
like, well, fuck that live service character shooter. It's like, no, that's not what this game is.
That's right. And of all the things to emulate right now, given the state of like everybody's mindset about live service hero shooters, this was not the thing to do. This was exactly not what you wanted to emulate or make or tease to anyone. So
Anyways,
that sound you heard was the sound of my heart breaking.
it's like Simpsons. You can see the exact moment that his heart broke.
Yeah. I was watching it and thinking to myself, please don't be,
Please
please
don't
like
get
have
back
like that moment of like just joking. This is what the game's really like. I just, it's like I just was waiting for somebody to go, no, just kidding. Here's the real trailer.
Okay, well,
To like fuck with us, because that would have given me a lot more hope if they were actually said that we're
oh,
just fucking with you.
that reminds me of, it was a game announced in Summer Games Fest, and I forget the name of it, but it's from the creator of the Stanley Parable. And the trailer is all about this lady going, "Oh, I was a warrior, but then I became like this salesperson, and I
Yes.
started selling things. And it's like I like being a merchant." And it looks like it's kind of a Stardew Valley-esque management thing.
Yes.
Up until like the last second, when it's like everything gets off, she's like, "I'm happy. I'm
I'm
happy.
happy.
I'm happy. I'm happy." And it's like, oh, okay,
Oh, I know that looked, I forgot the name of it too, but yeah, that looked really good too.
yeah.
And the
Okay.
fact that it's somebody from Stanley Parable, you know that it's going to be.
Well, and that's what's funny, because you hear it, it's from the maker of Stanley Parable, and then it's this kind of like very direct, like merchant sim. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, I guess people can make different types of games. And then it gets to that turn, and you're like, oh, there's the Stanley
There
Parable
it
guy I know.
is. Yep. It was
That's
a
the
red
turn.
herring. It was a false flag. Deviants shall not be tolerated. Team Edie.
Okay, so
Yes!
let's talk about something
Team
good.
Edie, welcome bidders to Team Edie. Come on in, the water's fine.
Let's talk about something that actually looked cool.
Okay. Actually, you know what? Why don't you do that? I should have done this beforehand. I took myself to breakfast to make myself feel better about what I'd seen about Dragon Age. I just like drowned my sorrows in bacon and eggs and a lot of coffee. So I need to go to the bathroom because I had like 6 cups of coffee while I was sitting waiting for my food, just angry coffee drinking.
Okay,
It was,
you do that.
yeah. So I'll be right
And
back.
I'm going to talk about Doom: The Dark Ages. Which honestly, let me add that to stage. There we go. Yeah, this Doom is kind of so classically in that idea of, Martian landscape and kind of demon hellscape that, oh, let me lower the resolution on that so you can actually see it playing. Okay, yeah. You can deal with 480p on the stream. You're looking at it in a window. The point is, yeah, Doom is like so classically that one environment that seeing it someplace new is actually really cool. This feels like a neat expansion of just what can a Doom game be? I don't know the lore implications of it. The fact that you have the Doom guy in the medieval setting in like kind of modern military Spartan armor is a little funny, but also it's like it's Doom. Yes, I know that there's a whole bunch of lore behind it, but like it doesn't really matter. The point is you've got big monsters and big guns and you're smashing them into each other. Because a lot of this does look really cool. A lot of like good heavy metal, especially that last section where you get like the big thing with the laser wings. Oh, come on, give me the laser wing guy. There
Epic
we
heavy
go.
metal music.
Like that looks cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would like buy the game outright, but this was absolutely one notch of many others that makes me go, I could sign up for Game Pass for a month for that.
Sure.
For that and other things. Like it coupled with everything else is like makes me want to subscribe, which I feel like that's what they need. It's what Microsoft needs.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What's another one that looked? We're just kind of jumping all over.
Yeah, they showed off.
Flintlock seemed kind of interesting. Siege of Dawn.
Oh yeah, Flintlock. I thought Flintlock looked fucking awesome.
Yeah, and that's coming out next month. It's almost here.
Earlier than I absolutely thought. I thought that game was set for next year.
Yeah, no, it looks like, I mean, it's way earlier. If you thought it was next year, you're in trouble because yeah, it is absolutely coming out next month. So let me add this to the stage instead because yours is awful.
Okay.
Yours is skipping, dude. You don't have the bandwidth for that.
Anyways,
BioWare releases in the last decade have been questionable. DA Inquisition, Mass Effect Andromeda, that only people like me enjoy, the Dead Anthem, and the remake of Mass Effect Trilogy. Exactly. They have not engendered a lot of faith. And I was hoping,
because it's a different studio.
Yeah, and that's what I was hoping. And apparently not. So yes, this is Flintlock. Flintlock looks very, very cool. It's a Souls-like she's sworn to kill all gods, but then she meets a god that wants to help
But
her.
also like that traversal just looks really cool.
Really cool. Yep.
And I remember this is from the developers of Ashen, which I remember talking about on the podcast. And it was like a kind of indie Souls-like game that I thought was really good for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the combat in this, it looks very combat heavy. And I think the combat could stand up to scrutiny because Ashen was good in that regard.
Yep. Yeah. And I liked the trailer. The trailer was a nice, that had a good vibe, very good vibe. So yeah, it's coming out next month, 7/18/24. So start your engines. That's about to happen. Let's see, another one that looks interesting that I had not heard about. We talked about mixed tape. Let's see. I did, I'll bring up Life is Strange. We already talked about it a little bit, but the new Life is Strange looks very cool.
Yes. I think it's interesting that it stars Max Caulfield from the first game.
Yeah. Which because they moved away from Max.
Yeah.
For a while. And I really, of all of them, I really liked Max. I liked her story a lot. So the fact that it is, they're bringing it back to her and her story is, I think, a really good thing. I very much want to.
I also think that means that they need to pick a canonical ending for the first game, because the first game could end with you choosing. Spoilers for Life is Strange, but it would end with you either choosing to save your town or choosing to save your girlfriend.
Yeah.
And it's like, if this requires them to have chosen a canonical ending for that.
Did Deck 9 do the original?
No.
I was going to say I don't think he did.
Deck
So this
9
is
did the other Life is Strange, True Colors.
okay. True Colors. All right.
Yeah, the people who did it was
It wasn't Hello
the
Games. It was
people who
something.
did Vampire, they did Remember Me, they did Banisher's Ghost of New Eden this year. Oh, what's the name of that developer? I think I want to. Oh, Don't Nod. Thank you.
Don't Nod. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I love Don't Nod. I mean, I really wish that they were coming back for this because they
They made
get
a.
Max more than anybody else. But I'm still interested in seeing what they're going to
I
do with
want to
it.
check out Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. I've heard good things about that.
Yeah. So,
Yes, they showed this. They showed off a trailer of State of Decay 3.
that looked really cool. No, it's State of Decay. It's a known quantity, but I really did like State of Decay.
I was watching that going, wow, they're really playing up. Speaking of like things that are falsely emotionally relevant, this trailer's like, our buddy's surrounded by zombies. Let's go save him. Let's go save him. Oh, we saved him, but then someone else died. It's like, you will not be forgotten. Heroes are never forgotten. And it's like, no, this is State of Decay where like you lose a survivor every 10 minutes. And
Exactly.
You're like,
That was the
shit.
whole point of like State of the Game, the beginning. It was a zombie apocalypse game that didn't take itself very seriously.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna lose. Oh, Jim is gonna get bitten, and it's like, well, sorry, Jim, I'm gonna have to leave you behind.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it felt a little tonally inconsistent with what those games are.
Yeah.
But
But
it
at
did,
the same
but it
time,
did
it
have
is
little snippets of moments that actually looked like gameplay. Was over the shoulder shooting, and like, boy, graphically looks really good.
yeah. And that was, I think, was something that you did, or was it you or Goalie that didn't like about it because it was too cartoony with the original State of Decay?
Maybe goalie, maybe me. I never quite clicked with the game.
I really liked it. I would click for it for a long period of time and then finally get bored with it and then stop. And I would imagine that's probably going to happen here too. But yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about State of Decay. It's going to be something that I will put probably 60 or 70 hours in and then just never pick up again.
Which honestly, they got your 60 and 70 hours. That's
Yeah, that's what I've done with all
pretty
the
good.
other ones. It's like it's my new obsession until it's not.
Mhm.
What's this? That's State of Decay. State of Decay 3. Thank you, sir. So yeah, that looked good. What else have we got? We got there was the Indiana Jones.
Okay,
Let's not
I
forget
wanna
that one.
I wanna talk about that one
Okay.
because other than Perfect Dog, that was the one that I think turned me around the most.
Really?
Because so I still have some concerns. That cutscene, a lot of this trailer was a cutscene,
Mhm.
and that cutscene had more charm and fun than anything in the last movie. That which we
Yeah.
have now entered a weird snake eating its own tail situation.
Where the games are
in
leading the
which-
movies.
No, in which I really like that cutscene because it gave me strong Uncharted vibes.
Mhm.
Because Uncharted did such a good job aping Indiana Jones.
Right.
Well, now it's been so long since an Uncharted game that I see an Indiana Jones game and I'm think that's doing
that's
a good job aping Uncharted.
Started. Yeah. It was a good gameplay trailer. It was.
It works. Like that cutscene works, but also it was almost all of a cutscene. We didn't actually see. We
Right.
saw some gameplay, but not enough to really get a sense of how it plays.
Mhm.
I like machine games. They did the Wolfenstein games. Like they
Mhm.
know how to make a really intense action game. But I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm more optimistic after seeing that cutscene.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I really did like it, and it really did feel like an Indiana Jones in the best way possible.
Yeah.
In that you have a fight scene, but there's humor in the middle of the fight scene.
Yeah, it's like the whole ship is starting to go off the edge, and like him and a guy are in a fist fight, but then this box comes barreling down, so they both have to separate.
Yep. This moment right here.
Yeah.
That was like, that was a moment I'm like, it's the nod. Just, it's so indie. The indie that I remember and that I love, that we made us fall in love with indie in the first movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for that one. I'm not hating it. Still first person, still no interest. Yeah, well, that's unfortunately, a case that where you have it, like people with vertigo issues are gonna always have that kind of issue with it.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Let's we talk about
They
Flintlock,
showed
Sea of
off.
Thieves,
They
Metal
showed
Gear
off.
Solid.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid Delta. That we've seen that before. We saw more of it
Yeah,
now. It kind of looks
survival,
the same.
tactical, espionage,
We
no
saw
date on it.
Starfield. Oh, I'm not hating on it at all. I think that game will be awesome. It's just it's a remake of a
Right.
another game.
And it's Konami. And what do we say about Konami, folks? Repeat after me. Everybody in the chat room. 1, 2, 3. Fuck Konami.
What we did see is Starfield.
We did. I didn't even write it down. Did I write it down? I didn't even write it down.
Which I don't know how much this expansion will go to, resolving the sins of Starfield.
What's the name of this expansion?
Shattered Space. But it looks like it's getting really into some cosmic horror vibes. And when I think about Starfield, for a game that ultimately was about dimension hopping cosmic beings, there wasn't a whole lot of cosmic horror in that premise. But this trailer really leans into the cosmic horror, and it's like, oh, this is what Starfield could have used. Like just a little bit more of something.
Little more Dead Space. Little more Dead Space.
Not just Dead Space, just like
little less Fallout 76.
Just like a distinct sense of style, like a personality.
Yeah.
Starfield is so kind of plain.
Beige.
Yeah, it's so beige.
Well,
and this is
intentionally
this
so.
like
They wrote that because they wanted you to fill in the personality. It's like, look, if I wanted to fill in the personality, I'd make my own game. Thank you very much.
I don't mean the personality of the character. I mean the personality of the game.
Exactly. The game had no personality because it wanted you to do it. It wanted to be everything to everyone. It ended up being nothing to no one.
Yeah, a lot of this is like, oh man, that kind of looks like The Expanse mixed with some Dead Space, mixed with some other stuff. Like, man, I could get behind this.
Yes, absolutely. I could see this.
I don't know if I want to play through Starfield to get to this, but like, this stuff looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not recommend playing through Starfield to get to this. If they make this so that this stands alone, you don't have to play Starfield to get to this, then it's worth it.
Let's see. They had an update to World of Warcraft. They had an update to Fallout 76. They had an update to Sea of Thieves.
Season 13, which is starting next month on the 25th.
Yes. And then we should show the Perfect Dark trailer.
Okay, let's do that. So
they also had an update to Diablo 4.
Did we go into details about the Perfect Dark trailer? Because you had some thoughts, and we started talking about it, and then we stopped.
Yeah, we did that like immediately at the start of the show.
Yeah. So, oh, that's right, because you had said that it's like I was thinking to myself that that looks way better than a game in development hell should look.
Yeah, for a game that's been stuck in development hell for so long, this just came out kind of firing on all cylinders. That has kind of an interesting story premise where you're parachuting into this like isolated society, is the isolated society the real bad guys? There's hints of you being caught in the middle of kind of two big forces.
Right.
But then it just looks like such a mix of other games. It's got some Dishonored, it's got some Mirror's Edge, it's got some, Fear, it's got some Splinter Cell. But what was
that game about the hacker? That you hated. We wanted to love and then we ended up hating.
Watch Dogs.
Well, no, not Watch Dogs. Yes, Watch Dogs. Yes, Watch Dogs. It has a little bit feeling of Watch Dogs to it.
Yeah, you've got your X-ray vision, you've got your hacker powers.
Right, you have like this. You're in this living world where things are moving and being, and you're kind of using your abilities or whatever technology
and that's the very Dishonored immersive sim though. It's like, oh, you've got an open world and you're kind of exploring and making your way through it on your own.
Right. And and I'm a bit torn by my journalistic ethics to offer any information or opinions. Let's just say.
Well, then you can trust me when I say, like, I had zero expectations for this, and I fully expected it to be
Right.
mediocre at best. But to come away going like, "Oh shit,
I
is
can do this.
Perfect Dark actually going to be a good game?" Like that.
Yeah.
That was such an impossibility in my mind. It wasn't even on my bingo sheet.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, no, we're not going to put that as an option because that's stupid.
Yeah. Watch
But-
Dogs 2 was awesome. Agreed. Watch Dogs 2 was awesome.
I never played it though.
You did not play 2?
No.
Oh, it was really quite good.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I may offer some opinions on this now, but man, do I want to disclose? Is it that time?
It's up to you.
Is it that time, you think?
It's up to you.
All right. So I guess sort of an announcement. Wow. How do I broach this? Not an intentional thing happened, but Edie is dating again, and Edie met somebody, and he works on this game. He's working on Perfect Dark. He's one of the engineers working on it. So I am intentionally not talking about it at all with him because I don't want to know anything. Because
see, that's a mistake. If I was in your shoes, I'd be like, tell me everything. I'm not going to tell anyone else.
yeah,
I wouldn't even tell me, but I'd be like,
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah, I
wanna know.
absolutely want to know, but I also
Give me
have been
all the dirt.
this is not my first rodeo. I was a film critic when I was dating somebody who was working on the Star Wars films. Like when everybody cared about what was happening on the Star Wars films, when it was the biggest secret in all of Hollywood. So I learned very early on, don't ask questions because you don't want ever to have anyone have a suspicion that you might know, or worse yet, that you know something and you let it slip. So I don't ask. It's a don't ask, don't tell as far as I'm concerned. And if things are said, I immediately put my fingers in my ear and sing la 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 la. That being said, it's hard for me to be journalistically objective about it.
Okay, so
because I'm looking at different things that you're looking
you
at.
heard it here from Edie's anonymous source. Perfect Dark is coming to PlayStation 5. Spread the news. Spread that it came from GameHounds.
Absolutely not. Do not. Don't even. No.
This is an Edie Sellers exclusive.
No. So please don't hate him. He's a very nice man. I like him a lot.
Yes.
And Nick has met him.
I met him. He's cool.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe he's working on a good game.
He might be working on.
He might be working on a good game. I would not have expected that, but turns out
you met him, you thought he was working on a shit game. You just didn't say anything.
Not shit, but like I said, for a game that's stuck in that kind of development hell, I figured that it would come out and it would be fine. You know, it'd be like Starfield. It came out, you play it, you're like,
yeah,
this isn't good. It doesn't really come together. There's clearly like some clashing ideas. Like there's so much in that trailer that's like, oh, a little bit of this game, a little bit of that game, a little bit of that game, that you could very easily see that going haywire.
Yeah.
But the fact that based on the trailer, it looks like it all works together pretty seamlessly. That's the most impressive thing. That it's a hodgepodge of ideas that actually all complement each other.
Yeah. Yeah. It's they made it at least the trailer makes it seem like it works.
Yeah.
Or at least the gameplay trailer.
I went from not interested at all to be like, this is probably this is the most I'm excited for an Xbox game in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I already actually know something that I shouldn't know, and I'm trying not to say it. So
Mm.
yeah.
Okay, well then we can move on to the other big
Yeah.
announcement.
And AC Ray says, "How dare these other developers ruin the game Edie's boyfriend was working on?"
If it was a solo developed by him, it would be a masterpiece.
I don't know about that. He's good. He's not that good. And if you are at all curious about more specifics about him, and just put it into the Discord, and I will reveal all in the Discord. But I
In
don't
the
want to.
theme of these video game announcements, tune in 2 days from now for the Edie boyfriend deep dive.
Don't call it a deep dive. Please don't call it a deep dive into my boyfriend.
Okay, the gameplay reveal.
Going deep on the boyfriend. No, that is not what's going to happen. But I will give you, and God, look at me. I can see I'm blushing. If you want to find out more information or get, the actual details of like who and what, I'm happy to do that in the Discord. Just ask me in the Discord, and it's an AMA. Yep, right there. There's the Discord. Nope,
Yeah.
not there. There's the Discord. It's an Edie's boyfriend AMA. All right. So next game what we're talking about.
The other big thing is they announced the new Gears of War.
Yeah.
Which I'm a little disappointed at
I don't
because
know.
Gears of War 5 ended on a pretty big cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
This new Gears of War is not Gears of War 6. It's a prequel starring the characters from the last trilogy.
True.
Which, like, to go 4 years since that big cliffhanger
Mhm.
and have the first big Gears thing be, yeah, this is something completely different.
Yeah.
It feels a little bad.
Yes and no. I mean, it does feel bad, but at the same time,
Jupiter.
I understand why they're doing it. Is it maybe they
Why?
just need a little extra time for working on Gears 6?
They've had
This is a amuse bouche. This is a little hors d'oeuvre to get your juices flowing for when they announce Gears 6
No,
a year later.
This is clearly they started working on Gears 6. They tossed it. They started working on another game, tossed that, and then started working on this. And we're like, well, let's make it a prequel. That way we can make it like maybe a smaller $40 Gears game.
Mhm.
Because we haven't been working on the other one.
Right.
Yeah, no, I have no hope.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you should have a lot of hope, but you might have some hope. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, maybe. The fact that it stars Dom and Marcus, the characters from the first trilogy, just reeks of, oh, we're gonna go back to the well, right? It reeks of, these other games didn't do as well as we hoped, so let's go back to the characters you know and love. It reeks of desperation.
Yeah, I don't know if it reeks of that much desperation. It's still pretty. Yeah, I'm not. It feels right, even if you don't like the fact that it is not 6. It feels right. It feels like a Gears game. And the fact that you're bringing in these characters, these classic characters from the previous, those are really loved characters.
Yeah, and the time has passed.
Their
Move
time is
past
not
them.
passed. No, their time hasn't passed.
No, the time has passed.
No.
Move on.
No, that's not the case. Their time isn't past. Their time will always be in the same way that Ezio will always be important to Assassin's Creed and all the other ones.
I don't think he is.
Really?
The new Assassin's Creed is so far beyond Ezio. That shit don't matter anymore. They've moved on. And you know what? I respect him for that.
It made me happy to see it. It made me happy to see them. I liked the trailer itself, and more importantly, they brought back the music, which gave me the feels.
The slow, mournful version of Mad World,
Mad
which
World.
was already a slow, mournful song, but let's slow it down even more.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed lost the plot. Nothing counts. Oh, there's bitter if I ever heard it. Aren't bitter supposed to be the bitter one?
I mean, he's not wrong, but the only thing that matters is the individual games. Like the overstory doesn't matter.
Right. Well, I'm not. I
Anyways.
wasn't angry about it. Let's just say I'm not angry about it.
All
All right.
They had a couple like new games.
Yes, a couple of premieres. First off, let me get to one that was a premiere that stood out to me, but it seems kind of weird in that I'm not quite sure whether it's trying to be Fallout or not. Something called Adam
I do
Fall.
like that Bitters Plus says my name is the opposite of my personality.
Oh, really? You're an optimistic? Oh yeah, that's what when I think sunshine and gumdrops, I think bitters.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Fall.
What was Adam Fall?
That was the one that looked, for all intents and purposes, looks like Fallout 76, post-apocalyptic kind of thing going on.
Yeah, it was kind of like a Fallout played as Stalker.
Yeah.
Like if the developers of Stalker made a Fallout game.
Yeah, obviously, after an atom bomb of some kind, and maybe things are better. You're playing in. I mean, does this not say right here what we're looking at? Fallout.
Oh yeah, it absolutely looks like Fallout.
Yeah,
the kind of retro future.
Yeah,
technology.
Yeah, the industrial age kind of
post-apocalyptic.
Like yeah. But also, like a wild wasteland of zombies, except the zombies are no longer like, they're not just, I guess the ghouls were like that. But it's interesting. I'm curious, but I also need to know that it's something other than Fallout. Unless, because it's being made by Rebellion Games, unless Rebellion Games said, you know what, they're not making another Fallout the right way. They're focusing all on this Fallout 76 bullshit that nobody wants to play. Why don't we just make Fallout and call it Adam Fall? I mean, could it be any more of like, hey, we're Fallout. We're going to put fall in the name.
It's Rise Up. That's what it's called.
Yeah, exactly. And another, I believe this was the Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Was that also a premiere? I wrote down question mark.
Yes, that's a new one that we have not seen yet.
Yeah, that looked really cool as well. Obviously, Asian influence. And I'm kind of, it's obviously just a cinematic trailer. There was no real gameplay to it, as I recall.
There was a little bit at the end. Little. It looks like a Souls-like game.
It looks like a Soul. Exactly. That's what it looked like. It looked like Dark Souls.
Come on. Oh, give me that. Oh yeah. Oh, I need that itch. Oh yeah. Scratch that itch good.
Yeah. In fact, I wrote Souls like 2025.
Just rewind like 10 seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds. Whole 10 seconds. All right.
It's the most Souls-like thing. More for like this hero moment. Jump up. Right.
Right.
Oh, she got a hit in.
She got a hit in. She's gonna go in for the second hit, and it's like, nope.
Just bitch slap
and
down.
Slide.
That's the most Souls-like thing, of that moment where you think, I've got this.
It's faceplant. I got this. I don't got this.
Yeah.
This could be good. Is this like, it's almost, I want to say, dare I say, a Dark Souls ripoff?
I mean, actually, this might be more Sekiro.
Okay.
But it's still FromSoft.
Yeah. And you're super happy. I know. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, I could hear Nick orgasming from all the way from over here. Oh. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's out in fall. So yeah, that's we have a 2025 release on that. No,
Yeah, a lot
no
of
other news. A lot of
a
stuff
lot of
was
2025
2025.
games.
Something that is not 2025. That did I read this trailer correctly for Assassin's Creed?
I mean, Assassin's Creed is coming out this year.
Right, it is coming out this year on November 15th.
Uh-huh.
But is it, and it was this was their first gameplay trailer, or game trailer that showed gameplay. But am I seeing this right in that it's going to be multiplayer, two-person multiplayer? Or am I just reading that completely wrong?
Yeah, it's got dual protagonists that you'll be able to switch between.
Okay, it's single player, but you're switching between protagonists. Okay, all right.
Yeah. But yeah, I was watching this thinking it looked pretty cool.
I did too. I'm absolutely all down for that, and not angry. And I would have loved if it does have the ability for you to play multiplayer, like one person plays one character, the other one plays the other character. That would be fantastic. How awesome would that be? That
I've
we could
heard
play this together.
I've heard that it's doing really cool things with weather. That one of the things they wanted to do is kind of, Ubisoft wanted to once again be like the leader in open world design. And so
Right.
one of the things they're doing is focusing on weather and snow specifically. How snow will kind of completely change how you go about infiltrating a place. Because if you're in snow, you can leave more tracks than you could in warm weather. But the advantage is that there won't be as many guards because it'll be cold out. So they'll be huddled around the fire.
Right.
So on one hand, it's easier for you to leave traces, but on the other hand, there's like less guards around. And to have that be something that happens dynamically is really cool. Also, holy shit, it looks really good.
It looks really pretty. But everything in that feudal Japan era looks pretty. It should. If it doesn't, you're doing it wrong. But yeah, even when it goes into the black and white, it looks great. Or Play is going to be at Ubisoft Forward tomorrow, so we will find out more details tomorrow at Ubisoft Forward, which I am totally down for. And full disclosure, I do still own my Ubisoft. I think.
Well,
no, I did. I think, did I sell my Ubisoft? I may have. No, I haven't sold the Ubisoft yet.
You should. Like all
I sold something and bought a bunch of Nvidia.
Like, look, all hate to Eve Gemo. But if Shadows and Star Wars Outlaws are both good, like Ubisoft should be getting a bump.
Yeah, it should. Let's see.
Okay, I want to see the trailer again for
Avowed?
No, not Avowed. We will talk about that one though. Shit, where is it? Fragpunk.
Fragpunk. Okay, I wrote that down. I have details on that, or something on that.
Of all the hate that immediately goes out for 5v5 hero shooters, here is a 5v5 hero shooter that actually looks to be doing something different and interesting.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with the cards where you crush the cards and you can actually materially change the world.
Yeah,
so that you can give yourself an advantage.
Yeah, it's like the abilities you have aren't just, oh, here's an ability I have that I'm going to use. It's like they're a bit bigger, they're a bit more farther
it's almost like
reaching.
a card game and a shooter at the same time, because you are playing your cards against somebody else's cards.
Yeah.
And those cards are affecting you as well.
Yeah, so depending on how that actually works, depending on how those cards change the game, that could be really cool. Like that. If you triggered a card in which every time you kill someone, death appears and there's a circle that appears around them. If you get caught in that circle, you die too. So it looks like whenever someone dies, you need to run the fuck away or you'll die too.
Right.
That's a cool, wrench thrown into the plan of everything.
Right.
So yeah, and you know what? It's a 5v5, what I assume to be a 5v5 hero shooter. And it didn't do the character freeze frame name. Character freeze frame name.
Yeah,
it didn't do that.
It didn't do that.
Instead, it showed
one game that was a 5v5 competitive hero shooter was the one trailer that didn't use the technique.
And
And Dragon
instead-
Age did, which just makes even more angry at Dragon Age.
And instead, Fragpunk showed off the mechanics that make it a different type of hero shooter, which is like, dude, marketers, look at this. This is the Xbox showcase.
Also not afraid to dive into 80s music, dare I say. Also not afraid to bring in the 80s music, because
Really?
80s was the best music of all time, period, the end.
You know what? We just need so much of media today is just reliving the 80s, and God, we need to move past it.
No, 80s was great. You have no
No.
idea. It was fantastic.
We need to move past you boomers controlling all of culture.
Boomers, they were not boomers, we're Gen X.
Oh, you boomers.
We're Gen X. We're the better ones. We're the ones you don't want to
All
talk
you
about, because when you
growing up with
when you say our names
Nirvana.
3 times, we show up and fuck up your world.
All you boomers loving Nirvana and MTV.
Boomers loving Nirvana. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Nirvana was the 90s, but okay.
Yeah. Prime boomer season.
Yeah, right.
Look, boomer is now refers to everything older than 15 years ago.
That's true. I'm waiting for that day that somebody says, okay, boomer, and I get to throw a punch. No jury would convict me.
Okay, other things that they showed off. They showed off Winter Burrow, which almost looks like
I liked Winter Burrow. The look of it. It's City Mouse kind of goes back to country and finds out that his home that he grew up in is now cold and dark and something wrong, and it's rebuilding the home, but also there's a twist to it. It seems like.
All I could think about is it looks like Don't Starve, but sad. Like, oh, do you want to play
Don't Starve was not what you call a little happy, jaunty game.
But this game is like, hey, do you want to feel sad while rebuilding your house? Oh, it's so cold. This mouse has no home. He has no family or friends. He's just got his stick and his axe, and he's just going to build a home. He's lost everything.
Right, but
it's like,
I don't know.
I feel sad for this
and you
little
have
mouse.
to but you have to rebuild the bridge to get to the person who's on the other side, the family member who's on the other side, but the bridge is down, and then when that happens, and there's other stuff that I don't know.
Maybe we'll see.
This.
Maybe we'll see more people. But I was just like, boy, this is a sad game. It says, well, you come home and your house is gone, your family's gone, and you're just like, well, I guess I'll build a bridge.
Right. Well, the bridge is on the other side of the bridge is your family.
Well, I hope so.
Where you can find out what happened to your home and why your home is abandoned like this.
Look, this little mouse needs something. I want this little mouse to be happy. He's cute.
Yeah, and there is an element of Don't Starve to it, and I'm good with that. So I think that this could be this strikes me as, talk about a sleeper hit. This strikes me as something that could be very much a sleeper hit.
He meets another mouse, and then the other mouse is instantly snatched away by an owl.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this mouse can't have nice things.
He really can't. I'm curious about that story. I think I see it being a heartfelt story that it pulls me in a lot of ways, like Stardew Valley did. Because that was I know you didn't feel it, but that's a very emotional game. So I'm liking the fact that you can have these little games with very, very deep emotional roots and stories to tell that really grip you and
It
bring
was
you in.
nice to see a game that small in the Xbox showcase.
Right. And wasn't like, they should have sold that like a hero shooter. Mouse, freeze frame, mouse, freeze frame, winter hat, freeze frame, stone
owl.
axe, freeze frame, owl. All right, so another game that you were interested
I
in.
think we're
Actually,
almost...
let me pull out. Let's see what else I've got. Elder Scrolls Online. Right now, it looks like you're going to be able to play all the DLC for free very shortly, and then of course the Gold Road expansion. It's coming out on the 18th of this month. let's see, Frag, Indiana Jones. We talked about Flintlock, Sea of Thieves. Wow, Perfect Dark, Diablo. You talked about Diablo Vessel of Heart for
This is
Hatred, right?
this is an update.
An
It's an
update.
expansion.
Fable, a new
Oh
Fable
yeah.
trailer, still coming out in 2025. But it was essentially you get a little bit more. If you remember the earlier trailer, it was kind of like they were making fun of like heroes. It's like, oh, these heroes, they don't know how to work, they don't know how to
Yeah.
struggle. And it was showing this woman who was doing was struggling and was working, and it was they're all good looking, and she's obviously a very plain looking woman, and kind of making fun of the tropes of video game, especially video game female protagonists. This one, you get a little bit more than that girl is actually very much something and someone who is material to the story, and that she's a little bit more of a badass than you were led to believe.
Well, what's interesting is it's narrated by like the greatest hero who's now retired, who's talking about how heroes these days they're not as good as he was back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But then she shows up behind him, and you get like little.
Well, he said, I knew one, and she was a terror. She was a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah,
He's
but then
actually talking about her specifically,
and
after
then
in
she
the
shows
original
up.
trailer being like, oh yeah, pharaohs don't know how to work. This is that same character, and now he's like talking about this one character, this one woman who was a force to be reckoned with, and she was a wrecking ball. And then of course she shows up behind him.
She shows up behind him, but then she says like, I'm back, or like
Right.
something that implies more. It feels like this narrator is not just a kind of meta narrator for this trailer, but
No,
that
you're
he
finding
actually
out
has a role in the story.
Humphrey.
Yeah, retired.
Yeah.
Because there's a flashback where you see young Humphrey with the lead character.
Mm-hmm. And you get the feeling that this trailer that was originally released as kind of like a funny haha joke is actually the game. The narrator is in the game. He is a part of the game. The girl that was the haha funny is actually part of the game, and it is their story indeed. So it gives richness to these characters simply because they were introduced as kind of like, I don't want to say throwaways, but like, we didn't take them this seriously part of the game, and they really truly are.
Yeah. Also, very good facial mocap.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. I'm down for this. I am 100% down for this. This is maybe replacing my love for Dragon Age.
Oh, okay.
I got to have somewhere to put my faith and hope and
Hey,
dreams
look,
into.
you still have Kingdom Come.
I do have Kingdom Come. Yeah, you're right. You really do. By the way, for Kingdom Come, that was yesterday. Oh, so good. Looks so good. Good.
Did it have the same characters from the first game?
Oh yes, it's continuing on their story.
Okay,
Henry is now no longer a fresh-faced teenager who loses his father. Henry is now a knight.
Yeah, but it was
at the
focusing
end
on
of the game.
Two characters. It was
Right.
like, oh, you've got this blacksmith and then this rabble rouser.
Right. The blacksmith is Henry, because remember his father was
okay. I never finished
the other one
game.
was the other guy that he met. He was a lordling that he ends up kind of pairing up with at the end, and they work together.
Oh,
so
okay.
those are the two characters at the end of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 that were the primary characters that you were playing with.
Okay. I never finished.
The blacksmith is Henry.
Okay.
Remember, his father was the blacksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, still never played Fable? Really? How have you not played Fable? That's a game you should play.
Fable 3 was cool.
Yeah. Fable is, where Nick's and my child is still living.
Well, he now rules in hell.
He does rule in hell. I'd like to think so. We raised him with good values, learned how to work hard, and
he became the Doom guy.
If you are not aware, back when that was Fable 3, was it?
Yeah.
Fable 3. Yeah, or Fable 3, where you could meet up with another character and then get pregnant by that other character. Nick and I ended up Nick got me pregnant.
We had a kid,
They
but
had a
also remember in that game there was a whole hand-holding mechanic where you could hold your hands with someone and like follow along with them. There was also a system of portals,
Yeah.
and at a certain point towards the end, a bunch of portals opened up into hell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Edie had our kid by the hand and walked into a hell portal.
And then I didn't grab his hand on the way back out. So
Yeah.
then I left and the portal closed, and I'm like, "Where's the kid?" He's like, "I thought you had the kid." No, I thought you had the kid. And we're like, "Oh no!" And we're like, "Can we get back into the portal?" And you couldn't get back to the
It's like,
portal.
oh
So our
shit.
kid got left behind in hell. This is why I don't have children. That's why I have dogs. Yeah, so it's kind of like the running joke between us is that Nick's and my child is ruling hell right now.
Maybe,
Either that or he's just, like maybe he's a waiter in hell.
or maybe he just turned to ash a second after the portal closed.
That's
Who
probably
knows?
more.
Who knows?
How great would it be if the new Fable allowed you to go into that portal?
Oh no, I was gonna say I want the new Fable to allow you to have kids like that again. I wanted to keep that mechanic.
That was a pretty fun mechanic. I remember when that came out and that Kelly Brown from the Married Gamers and I were thinking of auctioning off our virginity for a fundraiser for pro-choice Planned Parenthood. We were going to do a fundraiser for Planned Parenthood, and we were going to be auctioning off we would allow someone to have children with us. And then of course, Nick, you got it for free.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah. Then again, there I am blushing again. So
okay.
I'm getting griefed right now via text by the boyfriend.
Boyfriend was like, I told you my game was good.
I'm getting grief by him because I've announced him to you guys. So
okay.
And I'm blushing again. Yes, I am getting grief for him, and he's afraid that you all hate him now. Because he called you, and I quote, a bunch of nerds.
Newsflash.
I know, exactly. Nick doesn't buy cows. Milk flows like rain. That's why cats lick. Oh man, if I could make a t-shirt with that quote.
I didn't want to say it because it would sound like bragging, but it's true. Actually, here.
So yeah, that's true. He Moving right along. What else do we want to talk about? Did you want to talk about Stalker?
Not Stalker, but I want to talk about Avowed and Mecha Break.
Okay. Yeah,
Mecha Break.
This is another one of those ones that announced kind of like what was it? Mecha Punk, Mecha something Punk, Frag Punk.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't expecting, and the names don't stand out enough to me.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Mecha,
all right.
Mecha Break
what do you want
was
to talk about first?
also
Mecha Break or that?
Mecha Break.
Okay.
Just because that shit looks like Armored Core.
Yeah, and there's also Age of Mythology, which looks like Snooze Fest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Mecha Break. After playing Armored Core 6 last year and like just loving the hell out of it, this game looks a lot like Armored Core 6, and that
really does.
That just gets me really excited. I don't know how it will play, and that's kind of the crux of everything: is does it play the same? But it looks like it's got cool mech customization. It's got really fast-paced action where the mechs are like transforming into planes and then shooting and then transforming from planes into mechs to shoot something, then into a plane and flying away. Kind of like Robotech, but a bit less cartoony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks fucking cool. I hope that it plays as cool as it looks.
Yeah, this is your game. It's just it's like. Meh.
Yeah, this is just awesome action. Look at all those bullets.
It's like Evangelion. It's like,
Oh yeah,
that's what this is. And I really wasn't into that too much either.
this is like Gundam. Like Armored Core captures the drama of a Gundam fight, where two people smashing into each other. You're dodging you get out a blade and you juke forward to slash somebody, and then you juke backwards as they blow up. It's like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just hope it plays well.
Yeah. I only one way to find out. What do we have? Do we have a date on that? 2024. So that's this year.
Yeah.
No, Mecha Break was 2024. We don't have a date. Just August. Beta is coming August 2024. So you could be part of the beta, Nick. And then you wanted to talk. Just one?
Just one.
You feeling okay? Because that's twice that I've seen you only do it once.
I did like 10 early this morning.
Okay, all right. As long as you're, keeping up the appearance of being a multi-sneezer.
Okay.
Avowed.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for Avowed because I really, really like the developer. But
Who's the
I don't
developer
know.
on that again? It's
Obsidian.
Xbox. Oh, it is Obsidian?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I think it was Xbox Game Studios?
Because Obsidian is owned by
Is a
Xbox
game
Game
right,
Studios.
of course.
But
why wouldn't they say Obsidian anyway? Moving right along.
But yeah, it's from them. The trailer though was like kind of generic. It didn't really look super special.
It really was. Like I didn't even realize it was Avowed until the end because it didn't stand out as anything particularly interesting.
Which is unfortunate because, like, you talk about story. Obsidian is known for making really good, in-depth, thoughtful, serious stories. And this kind of hinted at none of that. So I feel like it is a hard game to sell because the stuff that will make it good is the stuff that you can't put in a trailer.
All right,
so
I'll give you that.
I'm hoping that it ends up better than it looks in trailers because I like the developer so much.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like if Dragon Age looked bad in the trailer and you kind of expecting it to, this looks bad from the trailer, but I'm hoping that it will be better.
Yeah, and I think there's more reason to think that that might be better.
Yeah, it's got it.
For this game,
developer has a pedigree.
Right, the developer has a pedigree and it isn't in development hell. And Dragon Age is exactly the opposite. It's a pedigree, at least in the last decade or so, of just absolute crap.
Yeah,
and
their history,
and it's also been in
doesn't
development hell.
engender trust.
Exactly the opposite. This is their last hope that they actually will have a good game in their stable. Because other than this, there is no other IP that they have that's even respected anymore. They've gone from two of the most respected IPs to one, and even that right now is a wobbler. And that predated Xbox buying them. So this is something that is endemic to the studio. Xbox was the hope that it would actually break that cycle. And if Xbox can't break that cycle,
no, Xbox doesn't own BioWare.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking Bethesda. No, you're right. But either way, this is a long-standing thing that has been a problem for the last decade. And if they cannot pull this out, BioWare has very little hope for itself. It has zero IPs that are respected at that point. It will have alienated all of the fans of BioWare. So they've got to make this. Well, I mean, I know we're going back, and they've got to make this good. If they don't make this good, I think they might have to go out of business because they don't even have the one IP that they put all of their money behind, that they were going to, like, okay, this is the IP that's going to start the next generation of like great things, was Anthem. Like
Yeah.
something so notoriously bad that it is almost a legend at this point.
If anything, I feel like BioWare took a real. eh, They retreated into the safety of IP, right? They're making another Dragon Age. They've already announced they're making another Mass Effect. But they needed to do something different because if they keep trying to replay those old hits, those games are just going to be compared to those old hits. They needed to the new BioWare needed to find something to stand on its own with. But the one chance they had to do that, they didn't succeed.
No, because they're games by committee. All of their games, and this has been their problem since Mass Effect Andromeda. Actually, since the do-over of Mass Effect 3's ending, it has been games by committee. And
I mean, to be fair, the Mass Effect ending wasn't very good.
No, the Mass Effect ending wasn't very good. That's what I'm saying. It's that it wasn't good. It was horrible to start off with, and then they went back to a do-over to try and fix their problem,
Yeah,
which
and
was slightly better.
Yeah, it was also like,
It was also still meh. Right, exactly. In the case of everything else, from like Andromeda on, it has been games by committee, and this is why you can't do that. It is games by the committee of widget salesmen, and they have not, at least from what I can tell on that trailer, because that was an actual decision made by a marketing department. They still haven't learned that widget salesmen cannot make games. They can't run games. And somebody who is an actual game developer has to go in there and say, fuck off, let us do our games. We know what we're doing, let go of our ears. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm still a little bit angry. I need to pull it back until the 11th so that I can be for sure pissed off.
yeah.
And that I can make them dead to me, and then I will never speak their name again. They will go into the rubbish pile along with that former podcast that shall not be named. I just won't even talk about them ever again.
Okay. Do you wanna start something? Do you wanna get into a fight? AC Wraith says, I still prefer Andromeda.
All right. I'm listening. Please make your case of why you are not wrong, because you're wrong. But I need to know why you think you're not wrong.
Okay, well, he types that
I'm
out.
open-minded here. You could convince me. You're not going to convince me I'd like it, but you could convince me that maybe somebody did.
I mean, apparently he did.
Everybody needs that one person to be a terrible example, and you might be that guy.
Well, while he types that out, we can talk about the new Xbox hardware.
Yes, let's talk about the new Xbox hardware. Let me see if I can pull up the Xbox hardware announcement. That was 11 months ago, 8 years ago. No, let's see. Hold on a second. Let me get to
basically the details of that. It's not really a new console. It's just slightly cheaper and comes with a bigger hard drive.
Right.
The new Xbox will be white instead of black. It will cost $450 instead of $500. It won't include the optical drive because it's the all digital console. But it will come with a 1 terabyte SSD drive instead of a 500 gigabyte one. No, wait, that's no, I think it will come with a standard 1 terabyte drive.
No, let's see. I wrote it down. I've got it here. Give me a second. Give me a hot second. I've got it.
Because
There is an all digital Series X, which is going to be 1 terabyte. There is going to be a Series S with an all digital series. Well, Series S is all digital, but there's a Series S 1 terabyte, all digital Series X. So it's going to be the Series X hardware without the drive. That's a 1 terabyte. And then there is going to be a special edition Series X with the hard drive, but it's going to be 2 terabytes.
Okay.
Give me a second. I just have to get to where she's actually talking about it. No, we missed it. All right, stand by. We have to move it back.
Yeah, there's
just
a
couple
new
seconds.
Galaxy Black Special Edition Series X.
All
That'll
right,
be
here we go. I
$600,
got it.
but
Right here.
it's
Oh,
just the
do
same
we have our prices
console
now?
with 2 terabyte hard drive.
Right. It's the same thing with a 2 terabyte. It's the same thing that we have already, except it's got a green base. And
Yeah.
it's going to be 2 terabytes. The Series S, which is a smaller, it's not as powerful processor and chips and everything. Essentially, it's Xbox Lite. That is going to be a 1 terabyte, which is bigger than what it is currently. And then there is this middle ground, which is the Series X, which has the bigger chips, the bigger processor. Essentially, it's a beefier brain with a 1 terabyte hard drive, but the thing it doesn't have is a disk drive. So it's essentially what we have, the current Series X minus the disk drive, and with a 1 terabyte, right? Because currently the Series X is with a hard drive and a 1 terabyte hard drive, or with a disk drive and a 1 terabyte hard drive. What this is, it splits the baby in the middle. It keeps the 1 terabyte hard drive, the SSD, but it gets rid of the disk drive. It becomes all digital.
So if you take the base Series X that we have now, that was $500, 1 terabyte, and $500, 1 terabyte drive with a disk drive. You now have a Series X that's 1 terabyte, $50 cheaper, and no disk drive.
Right.
You also have a Series X that's $100 more, disk drive, 2 terabyte.
2 terabyte. Right. And that's not a bad deal because the price of external drives, a terabyte for an extra $100 is a reasonable upcharge for that. It's when you it's always do you want it to be an internal 2 terabyte hard drive, or do you want to buy the 1 terabyte hard drive and make a 2 terabyte hard drive or more external? And for $100, you can get a 1 terabyte hard drive and make it external. So this is it's like, well, I might as well just get the special edition if I can get my hands on it.
It's them putting out a whole bunch of versions of the same box, but it's also kind of feels like an attempt to goose sales of hardware. Of like,
Yes.
hey,
this is not. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? This is a good thing. That's what they want to do. Exactly what they want to do.
Except
they want to sales.
Except I don't think this will actually do it because it's actually not different hardware. It's just, hey, do you want a disk drive and save some money? Do you want a larger disk drive and spend more money? But that all assumes that people are going to go out and buy another Xbox, which they haven't been doing.
No. And what it will do, possibly, I don't see people having the current Series X and saying to themselves, I'm going to get rid of my current Series X and pay $100 more than I've already spent to buy an extra terabyte hard drive. That's not going to happen. So everybody that has an X is probably going to stay with the X. Everybody that has an S might just upgrade to the X because that is going to be bigger. It's faster. You're going to get things. It's going to be, I think most games are 1080p at 30 FPS on the S. You're going to get 4K. So that is an actual upgrade. So instead of having to go for that extra $100 to go to the X with the hard drive, this kind of breaks it in half where it's like, okay, I don't really need the hard drive. Clearly I don't. I've had the S. It's fine. But I kind of do want that hardware. I want those processors. I want that chipset. They're going to be the ones that are going to upgrade to the X. The Series S with a 1 terabyte hard drive is going to make people want to buy that instead of buying a used S for all the people that went up to the X. That's essentially for the people who haven't jumped in yet. They're going to be buying that new S. So I think this isn't a bad plan at all.
I mean, I don't know if
for $100, if I haven't bought any Xbox, if I'm buying a Series X and I want it with the hard drive, I'm going to buy the 2 terabyte. For $100 more, I might as well just get the 2 terabyte. I have a feeling that they're eventually going to discontinue the Xbox Series X with a 1 terabyte hard drive.
I don't think so because it's a nice middle ground between these other two.
No, but they're going to replace that instead with a $50 less expensive or $100 less expensive Xbox Series X all digital. They're going to retire the X with the hard drive. Sorry, X. They're going to retire the X with the disk drive at 1 terabyte. It's
don't
going to be
know.
phased out.
I don't know. This doesn't seem like a bad move, but it also kind of seems like it's not going to do much. They needed to do something to reinforce to the fans that they are still in hardware.
Garrus Varkarian's the best friend I've ever had, and that includes Nick. Just saying, okay? Garrus Varkarian's
Okay, hold on.
friend I've ever had.
Hold on. We'll get to this. I think with all the talk about, the games moving to PS5, the Xbox consoles are selling really low. There's all these like talks about Microsoft's business and how they're kind of failing in the hardware. I think they needed to present some sort of hardware to get people to say, look, we still care about hardware. That's all this is. I think this is more of an empty gesture, and maybe not an empty gesture, but it's a gesture more than it is a practical thing. I don't think they expect to make money on these new models. I think it's just a gesture to show we're still interested in producing hardware. But I don't think it means anything beyond that.
No, I think they're saying the article they have here, more choices than ever with these 3 new Xbox Series S consoles coming holiday 2024.
Yeah, sure, they say that, but you know what? No one
I will
cares
bet you
about
they're not. I
Xbox
will bet you cash money that in holiday 2024 they will not be producing more Xbox Series X with the hard drive at 1 terabyte. It's all going to be 2 terabytes. They're just going to let the 1 terabytes be sold off the shelves until they're done, and that's it. They're not going to
release any of that information.
I could almost guarantee you that they probably, if they haven't already, probably about August, they're going to stop making the Xbox Series X with the disk drive at a 1 terabyte hard drive. They're only going to be they're just going to convert the whole thing over to 2 terabytes. And then just let whatever's on the shelves be sold out.
Maybe. Well, we'll see.
That's
Anyways,
my thoughts.
So AC Wraith says he still prefers Andromeda.
Okay.
Because my ending helped restart the Krogan race. I win.
All right. I won't disagree with that. That's a good
Honestly,
good ending.
I preferred being a Pathfinder to a generic warrior commander thing. It's what I want from my science fiction games. More choices. More choices than ever before.
That's
also, Garen Vakarian is a fascist, and I strongly judge you for the romance.
No, he's not a fascist. He's wonderful. He's a very gentle lover.
I just know that he loved working on engines. He spent all his time in the engine room.
Well, not all of it. I remember at least a couple times I got him out of the engine room.
No, he was still working on the engines, though.
He was working on an engine, but not in the engine room.
Yeah, AC Wraith also says, less SKUs for the win.
Yeah.
That's not Microsoft's business plan, it seems like. They want to put out more.
I think that's exactly what their business plan is that they're putting out more SKUs, but they're getting rid of some other ones that don't make as much money, so that people have to essentially spend a little bit more to get the hardware that they want.
Yeah, but the net out of all this is more SKUs. Even if they do with what you're saying, the net is more SKUs.
They've always had more SKUs. Every generation. We have not heard from PlayStation yet, sirs. I will remind you, they have not made an announcement, and I would almost...
Yes, they did. They had their state of play like a week ago.
Are they showed off something else coming up because I have a feeling they're probably going to announce some new hardware for holiday 2024.
I don't think so.
I would venture to guess they probably are.
There were rumors that, they want to do a kind of mid-cycle refresh, a PS5 Pro. But, now would have been the time to do that. And when they did their state of play, they didn't mention anything about hardware.
Yeah. Well, maybe they're not announcing it in the state of play, but I'm gonna bet that before the end of the year, we're gonna hear about a new SKU of the PlayStation
There's
5.
there's every possibility.
I think it's a high possibility, especially now that Xbox, because Xbox still undercuts them price wise.
Yeah, but Sony is still outselling them 3-1.
Right. And I think that there's gonna have to make some changes to that. I think that we're gonna see we're gonna see a PlayStation Lite. They're gonna see a
Sure,
PlayStation
like
Lite.
we could.
Yeah. And maybe a PlayStation Heavy where they've added, like in this case, they add another terabyte to the hard drive and then pump up the price by $100.
They
And
they
then wait for
might
the PlayStation 5 middle, which is what we have right now, to eventually sell out.
they might do that. I can't see them doing like a PS5 Pro that actually changes the hardware specs.
No, they're not gonna do a PS Pro that changes the
Although
hardware spec.
although no, the rumors were that they would put out a PS5 Pro that would be largely the same, but have like the Sony's AI upscaler to
Right,
like help make games better or something
right,
like that.
right. And I'll bet you that they also add in an extra $100 extra terabyte of hard drive and then
Yeah,
increase the price by $100.
yeah, like
Mhm.
that's a pretty
Yeah.
easy move
So
to
you're
do
gonna
for a
have an
SKU.
Xbox Heavy, you're gonna have an Xbox Lite, and then we're gonna have the PlayStation Heavy, PlayStation Lite, and then PlayStation what we have, which would be like medium. And eventually the mediums are gonna sell out, and then you have a choice between PlayStation Heavy and PlayStation Lite.
Mm.
That's essentially what's happening with Xbox, is that they're phasing out the current so that you can charge a little bit more for an extra hard drive and then also have a light version of that as well.
AC Ray says that moving to the bigger hard drive and cutting off the smaller one makes sense in bulk to me.
Right. Right. They need to make more money because everything costs more anyway. They can't
How
raise
much?
the price due to inflation, and there's been significant inflation since these consoles came out. So they're actually losing more money now. They were losing money when they first came out. They're losing even more money now because of inflation.
Yes, which is why, like, for all the talk about, Sony's, oh, we're selling more units, but we're not making as much money. Like year over year, we're not doing as much. We're not doing as much. Oh, we're not making as much money. But when you like actually look at the data, the PlayStation 5 fell short of their sales expectations by like 1 million units, by a
Really?
fraction, a fraction.
Yeah.
And it's outselling the PS4 at this time in its lifespan without a price break.
It's
Like the
almost
PlayStation,
almost a Square Enix amount of expectations that they had on this console, that it's like, how are you not looking at that and thinking it's a
yeah. Well,
huge success?
I think the reason is that part of it's inflation, right?
Right.
Is
Right.
that all they're making more money, but that doesn't mean as much.
Right.
And
Right. They're
also,
making way less money per unit. So if they were
except they're not, because they also said that they make people that buy a PS5 have like $700 more overall spend in the PlayStation ecosystem than people still on PlayStation 4. So like if you
Hmm.
buy a PlayStation 5, you spend more money on games.
Right.
But what I think is because they missed the sales expectations and because year over year was lower, that's all the news stories picked up. That's
Mhm.
all the discourse has been. But when you look at the actual numbers, it looks like it it's pretty sustainable. Like,
Yeah.
you're not doing bad. You had a bit of a dip, but overall, like,
But it's not the
you're not
20%
awful.
that the stockholders
It's not the
demand.
20%.
And that's what it comes down to. It's like, if it's not the 20%, and it's a loss. It's a fail.
And yeah, and that's the killer because like, oh my god, if you look at the numbers, it's all doing surprisingly well.
Mhm.
But anyways, that's a digression. So that kind of sums up the Xbox showcase.
Pretty much. There were a couple of
Um,
other things that got mentioned that I didn't bring up, like at the end. There was the one about the girl who was rowing on the boat and she's doing these chantings and she says, I have to do this alone. I have to do this. Was that Diablo?
That might have been Diablo.
The one I have to do it alone. I have to do it alone. And then she finds out that the person that she was talking to that she thought was her grandmother was actually the evil person. And
Yeah, I completely missed this, but then I did check out with Diablo. I kind of skipped over that.
I did too. Let's see. There's Adam Fall. Let's see if I can find it.
There are a couple other news stories. Should we talk about
Sure.
stuff from Summer Game Fest?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. I had a list of games I was interested from Summer Game Fest.
I should have written them down, but I didn't. So I'm going to rely upon you.
Okay.
To remind me.
This is mainly a list of stuff that, intrigues Nick. First, there's Knights in Tight Spaces. Knights as in chivalry knights.
Right.
This is a card-based, turn-based brawler. Last year there was a game called Fights in Tight Spaces that came out, and I played a demo of it, and it was pretty cool. This is a sequel that's just got a much more interesting art style and much better animation for its fight scenes. But it just looks like a really fun tavern brawler medieval game where it's like push, shoot in these tight spaces. You've got different classes. Yeah, overall, it looks like a better version of Fights in Tight Spaces.
All right. It's fine.
Yeah. Let's see.
It didn't like hit me as anything particular that I would be interested in, but
yeah, it's a Nick game.
It's a Nick game.
Karen, Cairn.
That looked cool. I liked Karen.
Yeah, it's basically a stamina. It's a climbing game.
It's a climbing game,
but it's like a climbing sim game where you have to really focus on where you put your hands. You have to focus on where you put your carabiners. You have to focus on your energy. There's a whole. I've read that there's a whole system of like, oh, your hand is tired, so you have to find a place to rest, like get the energy back in your hand.
Right. In fact, when in the trailer, when they run out of energy and the legs start to ratchet and she has to let go, I'm kind of digging it. There it is. There's legs ratchet and gone.
But thankfully, the carabiner saved her.
Yep.
Yeah, this sort of in-depth climbing sim. It's different, and it's cool.
Yeah,
it's not something you've seen before, but it's kind of a whole new type of gameplay.
Yeah, and I could see myself either playing a whole lot of it or absolutely none. It's either going to hit me right or it's going to hit me. It's going to be like, yeah, this is boring. But I do know how much time I did spend climbing up towers in Assassin's Creed. So I could see myself being very interested as well. So that looks cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. Was there a release date for that one?
No, there was not.
Steam says 2025.
Okay.
Anyways, some other ones. The First Descendant.
Yeah, we talked about that one.
This was just a trailer, but the trailer was really, really well edited to make an action movie, and the fucking trailer used that song by M83 that just immediately makes everything feel more profound and gravitas. It's just like you could show someone just sitting in a chair reading a book with this music, and this music would make it feel epic. So the music did a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, this is the trailer that we needed for Dragon Age.
Yeah, they should have gotten the M83 song for Dragon Age.
Yes, they should have.
Yeah, it's a CG trailer. I have no idea how this game will play.
Yeah,
but it's a cool CG trailer.
Yeah, and I wish I'd seen a little bit more because they announced this. What was it earlier this year? And there were two games that were very similarly named, and this was the one I
Yeah.
was less interested
It was
in.
like the first Descendant and
And
the
then the
last
last
Sentinel.
Sentinel. That's
Was
it.
that it?
Yeah,
Can't believe
didn't
I
see
remembered
anything about
that.
the last Sentinel. Was it the last
No,
Sentinel?
it was the last. It's something, and it was funny because they like showed them back to back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was like, how could you do that to us? How was it the last? Yeah, last Sentinel was the other
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah. That one I'm very interested in. And I was like, "Oh, Last Descendant." And I'm like, "Oh no, it's not. That's not the one."
But yeah,
Or the first Descendant, the last
yes,
Sentinel. The first I'm not interested in, the last I am. And
I'm
I didn't and we
intrigued
haven't heard anything
by
about
the
the
first.
last Sentinel either.
No.
So, all right. So, next item.
Another game that I put down that I don't remember was Wander Stop.
Mhm.
I need to see the trailer for this again because I'm not able to pull it out of my memory.
Mhm.
What was one? I wrote it down. Annapurna, that's a good sign.
That's the one that was a Stanley Parable guy.
Oh, yes, that was the Stanley Parable guy. Yeah.
Where it's
Where
like,
it's
"I like what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. I like it. I like being a merchant. It's good for me.
It's like, oh, I live such a peaceful, happy life.
This is good. I like this. I like this. I like this." Yeah. And yeah, you'd look at it and you're like, "Oh, okay. It's just, like another like village builder or, a planting sim where you're just, creating stuff and planting stuff and making potions and making tea and it's fine." And then you realize, "Oh no, it's not fine." So, yeah, this looks cool. The fact that if it hadn't said that it was from the developer of the Stanley Parable, I would probably have not paid much attention to this beyond this right here. I'd have been like, all right, I would have missed I would have missed the connection. I would have missed
Yeah.
the ending. I would have just kind of checked out and checked my phone. So yeah, you said that you were very excited about this.
Yeah.
All right.
You kind of see the
Like everything changes and yeah. It's about to be a very different experience.
another one I had was Bloodless.
Uh-huh.
And I think that was a horror game. There were a couple horror games that looked really good. I think
Bloodless.
if I remember, I think
game.
Bloodless kind of looked like Bloodborne? Is that why?
That's 8 months ago, 3 days ago, the official demo trailer. There we go. But now I found it. It took a bit. Is that the one that's kind of like black and white pixel?
Oh, yeah.
That. This looks all right.
It looks like a kind of Devolver game.
Yeah,
right?
it
very
does look like
action.
yes, it does look like a Devolver game.
Very action focused, kind of old school, but with the modern controls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like a
Oh, it's 3D Realms. I didn't know that.
It's what is it? It almost looks like a 16-bit era Sekiro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. That stands out for you. Anything else?
Past Trauma.
Oops.
Which I will just say now, I know it looks like Silent Hill 2.
Past Trauma?
Yeah. Especially
How did I miss that one?
Even the name is like, oh, this is clearly a bunch of people.
Post-trauma, not past trauma, post-trauma.
Oh, post-trauma. Okay.
Okay, 3 days ago. There was the release window trailer. Got it. All right. And yeah, there we go. Oop. There we go. All right. So I did I see this? I came into all of this very late. So I missed a lot of stuff at the beginning and then I meant to go back and watch it and I didn't. But this looks all kinds of messed up. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, this looks all kinds of fucked up. I'm so on board.
Yeah, you are, and I am so not. I am exactly not that. All right. So post-trauma stands out for you. What else?
Yeah. SteamWorld Heist 2.
Wow, why I did miss a lot, didn't I? Steam World Heist 2. Okay.
Yeah. At first, it just looks like more SteamWorld Heist, which was a 2D turn-based tactics game,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a very good one. And so this trailer starts off just kind of showing more of that, which is cool. But then it pulls out and it shows that you're not on ships in space. You're like on a submarine, and there's a whole submarine overworld that you're going through, which like adds a whole new element to the tactics.
I need to get my camera back from Outlast. Oh yeah, that's right. I dropped my camera. I haven't been back yet. Nope. Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, if you skip ahead towards the end of the trailer, like right now you're just seeing more turn-based tactics from SteamWorld Heist, which is just cool. But yeah, then it goes to the overworld, and this is all new. This is
Mhm.
completely new stuff for the series.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes me excited. It's they're not just making more of the same, right? It's not just another 2D tactics game.
Right.
They're expanding the scope into something that adds a whole new layer to it, which is just cool to see.
Did you played this, right? August 8th. Wow, it's coming out soon.
Oh yeah, I love SteamWorld Heist.
Okay.
I bought it twice.
You bought it twice? Why did you buy it twice?
I bought it on PC and I bought it on PlayStation.
Oh God.
'Cause
Okay.
I
Yeah,
just
you really
wanted to
did like
keep
it.
playing it. And let's see, what was I think I have one more. Neon Blood. Neon Blood is like a pixel art, one of those like 2D HD games, but it's a noir detective in a cyberpunk city.
Right.
And yeah, it's just an adventure game, but it's got a real cool style to it. The pixel art against like the real HD backgrounds,
Mm-hmm.
I just love that. I can't get enough of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't see this either.
A lot of these ones were earlier on.
Yeah. Why is it the things that were later on didn't make an impression on you, or you just getting to that later?
No, I don't. I named all the stuff that I was really
Wow.
interested in.
Oh, all of a sudden, I have a yawn that I cannot get out of myself. I'm sorry. Yeah. When it comes to the Summer Game Fest versus what Xbox showed, I want to say that Xbox definitely did a better job. I really was not terribly impressed with Games Fest, and what's worse is, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Keeley really needs to get some better people on board to not that when he needs to take a break and walk off stage and go to the bathroom or something, and they have that other person that comes up to fill in for him. The person they had this time was so not the right person to do it. I thought she may have been a developer, and then I kept on seeing her and going, "Oh wait, they hired her to do this?" Had zero energy, and it was all kinds of awkward, and like every time she talked it was like just a cringe, and it's like I just know she was dying up on that stage because it's like she'd make a joke and then she'd look around like, "Am I right?" and no one would be laughing, and she's like,
That's always it's so
oh,
hard to
just
be
watching
imposed.
somebody just die on stage is so hard. And what ended up eventually happening was that her presence actually brought down the energy for whatever she was showing. Because all I was thinking about it was like, oh God, that poor woman, that poor girl. They couldn't find anybody better.
Okay, so I have some like legit breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
This is coming from IGN's interview with Phil Spencer
Mm-hmm.
after the Xbox showcase.
Okay.
I guess Doom: The Dark Ages is coming to PlayStation 5.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting. But it's coming to PlayStation 5, but it's supposed to be day and date for Game Pass, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So on Xbox, it will be on Game Pass day and date, but it's also going to come out on PlayStation the same date.
Right, but you're going to have to pay for it.
Yes.
Yeah. See, that is what the juggernaut that Game Pass is that Game Pass allows Xbox to be able to put all of the games that they want to on PlayStation 5. Because people that don't have an Xbox are going to buy them on PlayStation 5. But if you have a choice between a console and you haven't purchased either one of them, or you have an Xbox, you're not going to play your PlayStation 5. You're going to be playing your Xbox because you can get it on Game Pass and you're going to sign up for Game Pass. So really the games are selling Game Pass. They're not and everything that they sell on PlayStation is just bonus cash. It's the best of both worlds for them. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. That's a smart thing to do because that's just leaving money. It's like leaving money on the table if they don't put it on PlayStation 5.
Okay, so I'm reading what he says. IGN asked him about the rumored PlayStation Xbox handheld.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically said, today was about the games. For us, the future in hardware is pretty awesome. Today was about the games, but we will have a time to come out and talk more about platform, which we can't wait to bring you. When asked if a hypothetical Xbox handheld would be a dedicated gaming platform where you can play games locally, like a Steam Deck or Nintendo Switch, or a cloud-based handheld, Spencer responded, I think being able to play games locally is really important. So take all that as you will. It sounds like if they would do a handheld, it would be more Switch-like than phone-like.
There was an announcement yesterday about a game that was releasing on a physical disc.
Oh, Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake 2 is releasing physical disc for deluxe, premiere, and like collector's edition. So that looked kind of cool. Like the stuff looks cool with it. Yeah. So question, are you going to get the collector's edition for all of the plastic and tat?
Probably not, because I don't want the plastic and stuff, but it might be nice to have a physical version of the game.
Yeah, I would imagine it's if you're gonna do it, get all the plastic tat too.
But I don't want the plastic stuff.
But the plastic stuff's cool.
But
I like the plastic stuff. I used to hate it. I kind of like the plastic stuff now. It made my purchase of Starfield much better because I thought the plastic tat actually paid back.
The plastic stuff is important.
It was the only thing that was
when it's better than the game.
But it's better than the game. It's like it can actually make you feel slightly better about pre-ordering.
Okay. That's all I had from the past couple days.
Yep. I did. Hold on a second. I did grab some other things. Let me look. I did
also
some other stuff for me.
I also have a here we go. So talking about Xbox rumors, in addition to the handheld, there's a rumor that they are working on a remaster of Halo Combat Evolved, and that too may go to PlayStation.
Interesting.
Because if you're gonna put the time to do that would be with a remaster, right? If you're gonna remaster the old game and kind of create a new SKU available for purchase, that's the time you would make that version available to PlayStation if you're going to do it. Apparently this is very early in development, though.
Okay. So let me go.
Yeah, and this rumor comes from The Verge's Tom Warren. So, pretty reputable.
Let's see. So, all right, my two things that I had that were actual stories that were not part of these things, part of these showcases. First one is we're talking about like the hardware and the Series X and how people might want to upgrade from their Series S to the X because the S's hardware is starting to show its age. It's starting to show its weaknesses because it is not as good as the hardware within the X. But if you had a middle ground where you didn't have to get the disk drive and you actually brought down the price of it, that it actually made it worth it. Well, that is something that became apparent recently when there was an interview about the Series S and Kingdom Come Deliverance. So it was first reported by this Czechoslovakian news outlet, I guess it would be called Zing,
Okay.
that Warhorse Studio, which is the developer of Kingdom Come Deliverance and KCD 2, they could only make the KCD 2 world 25% bigger because the Series S only had 25% more memory than the previous gen consoles where they made, which is what they used to the benchmark of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. So because there was only 25% more headroom on the S, they only had that much extra to play
Yeah,
with.
because Microsoft forces parity, and so you have to develop for the lowest common denominator.
Right. And the S being the lowest common denominator is very much a problem.
And we heard about this with Baldur's Gate.
Yes,
That
we
they
did.
almost didn't ship. They had to make an exception for Baldur's Gate to ship on Series S without the local co-op because they couldn't quite get it to work.
Right. And in addition, they also, this same Zing also brought us details about the tech specs for Kingdom Come Deliverance sequel. And I was talking about how like your resolution is going to have to be different between the two. So for the Series X, it's going to output at 4K 30 FPS.
Okay.
Xbox Series S is going to be 1440 at 30 FPS.
Yeah.
So that's why, I mean, I don't know that it was a coincidence that the same week and just before the announcement of this middle ground where you're going to have a Series X hardware without the added extra cost of the drive. But it is a bit of a convenient coincidence that all these details about how the S kind of fucks stuff up, the existence of the S and the limitations of that hardware is kind of fucking with developers, that they want to do more, they can do more, but they can't because of that stupid S.
I feel like in the next decade, when like the history books will be written about this generation, the S will be remembered as an anchor around the entire generation that prevented, because people are like, where's all the PS5 exclusives? Where's all the Xbox X exclusive? Where are the games that will force me to upgrade?
Right.
Well, they don't exist because developers are developing for the lowest common denominator, which is not one of the higher consoles.
Not a really good one. It's actually
Like,
only slightly bigger than the previous gen.
the S has kneecapped the entire industry. Microsoft
is.
is holding back the game industry with their fucking low tech console.
Yeah, you're not wrong. In fact, I'm really surprised that they are actually increasing the hard drive space on an S. And maybe the S is selling like crazy.
Well,
I don't know by
it's
comparison to
selling
the X.
it's selling better than the X, but that's also not saying much because overall their consoles aren't selling.
Yeah. That's
But
why they can't get rid of the S. I think if
yeah,
Xbox Series X was selling better, or if the whole generation, if the whole Xbox line was selling better, they'd probably scuttle the S because of that reason.
maybe. I do know that Sony has said half of its PSN users are still on PlayStation 4. So like that's a
Wow.
big number, but I do
Wow,
think
that is.
I do think part of this is if you go back to the pandemic when the consoles were hard to come by and they were releasing PS5 exclusive games. Everyone was complaining, why are you making these games PS5 exclusive? I can't get a hold of the hardware. So they kept doing these. Here's a we're gonna put it out for PS4. Here's a PS5 upgrade. Here's a PS5 upgrade. Cut to 3 years later, everyone's like, where are the exclusives?
Yeah.
Well, they purposely stopped doing the exclusives because people complained.
Right.
But then that wasn't even enough because Microsoft still had their anchor. So
Right.
a third-party
Right.
developer putting something out on PlayStation isn't going to take full advantage of the PlayStation because they still got developed for the S.
Yes.
So from the beginning, this generation has kind of been kneecapped in terms of kind of taking advantage of what it could do.
Yeah, that S, I know why they did it. I understand why they did it, but they didn't do themselves any favors by doing it.
Yeah. And I do think in recent months, I've seen more and more like news stories and like little leaks and tidbits about developers complaining about the S, complaining
Mhm.
that, oh God, we've got to make it compatible with the S. It's such a pain.
Yeah, such a pain in the ass. It's like, oh, we really liked it. Like coming up with ideas like, oh, here's what we're gonna do, here's what we're gonna do, here's what we're gonna do. And it's like, yeah, no, you can't. Sorry.
Yeah.
You could, you absolutely could, but you can't.
And maybe that's why I've also heard developers go, yeah, it's just not worth developing on Xbox. If
Right.
if they're selling so few consoles that you're not really going to get a bunch of sales out of it, you've kind of got to hobble the game for the S. It's like, well, that's a lot going against it.
Yep. It's too hard to develop for and it doesn't make enough money. So and the other item that I had that predated all of these this announcements was actually related to it. Is that it is, E3 doesn't exist anymore, but these showcases are happening in LA. Like they're happening in theaters
Yes.
in LA. So they're actually happening in the same theaters they would have happened if E3 had still been around. They're still doing these. So you can go see it live. The audience is live in these same theaters they always were in for the last decade and a half. So that means that there's a lot of people around that area of LA, downtown LA, that are game developer and media types.
Yeah.
And a LA bill. There was always, whenever they were down there was always billboards everywhere about games, like even all like banners that ran down the whole
Oh
sides of
yeah,
like
I remember
hotels and stuff.
in the E3 heyday seeing things on just banners that take up the entire sides of buildings.
Right, exactly.
Kane and
Well,
Lynch 2 on the side of a building.
yep. Someone bought a new one this year and they created
Oh,
a billboard, an electronic billboard from New Blood Interactive in downtown LA. And I will pull this up so that you can actually see Stephen Totillo's tweet about it. Let's see if I can actually pull it up.
oh yes,
Come
I think he
on.
mentioned that in his newsletter, but I didn't actually read
Yes.
the newsletter.
Yeah, he actually had not on, but it's on his Twitch account. Let's see if I can actually find it here. There we go. All right. Here it is. He actually showed that there was a billboard that that was gone but not forgotten. Here, I'll pull it back here so that you can see it. It's like gone but not forgotten. All of the studios that were closed or shut down. We love you. We miss you. We hate money.
Huh.
So yeah,
It's interesting that they kind of make it look like it got hacked.
yeah, and make it look like a hack. So yeah, it's a little bit of guerrilla advertising, kind of to remember that this is the time when everybody's kind of patting themselves on the back and great job and we're so excited about this game and that there's something out there going, hey, let's not forget that there's bodies on the road back there that died of dysentery on the
Yeah.
Oregon Trail. This was not a bloodless victory for any studio pretty much at this point. So yeah. In fact, what is it? One of them said, I have to like pause it when it rolls it by again. Stand by. It's going to roll by again. Let's see. I will pull this up again so that you can actually see what it says. It says Arcane Austin, Roll 7, Tango Gameworks, Voltronic Inc., London studio. Everyone laid off, downsized, and made redundant. Thank you for great games from your friends at New Blood. So yeah, I think it's an important message to have sent out. So I'm kind of glad someone did that.
That's nice.
Yeah, and got a lot of attention. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the time to do it.
Yeah. So that was my two stories that I loaded up prior to everything else.
The first story I have came out the day after we did our last podcast. I think it came out on Monday.
Okay.
That the rumored PSVR 2 to PC adapter is real and it's being released in August.
PSVR to what?
PC.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, we had talked about it last week that was something rumored to be in the works. And Sony just basically confirmed it and said, yeah, it's coming out in August.
Okay, so what you're saying is I need to buy my PSVR now.
You could, or any other VR headset.
Well, not any other VR headset. I want to buy a PSVR because any other VR headset is not going to work on a PlayStation.
True. I've heard good things about the MetaQuest 3, though, if you're just looking for a VR headset in general.
Nope. All right, so what do I want to get? I want to get the PlayStation VR 2. Why is it $499 at Best Buy? $449 at Best Buy, but $399 at
There are two versions. One comes with a game, one doesn't.
Okay, so the $449 shows
you also don't have to buy it now.
Oh, I'm buying it right now. Yeah, absolutely buying it right now.
Very, very trigger happy with the purchase.
No, I've been waiting. I've been literally waiting for this moment. I told you I was waiting for this moment. I'm buying it right now as we speak. We are going to pull this up, and I am buying it right. No, not here. Come on. I am purchasing it as we speak. So, where do I want to buy it? Anybody have any idea? Who do we want to buy it from?
Amazon, so it's easy to return in case you don't like it.
No, I'm not going to return it. I'm not going to return it. So it's $499 everywhere, $449 everywhere.
Okay, what are you looking at?
But then there's this $399.
Well, click on it and see what it says.
It's at GameStop.
Yeah.
It appears to be.
Click on it.
Everything.
But you opened it in a new tab, didn't you?
What? Oh, I did. I'm sorry. It automatically opened a new tab. All right. Damn you. It's because I'm the command key on a Mac is different than on a PC, and that's the one thing I'm so used to getting it for the PC that I forget that I have to move my pinky over one.
Okay, scroll down a little bit. Keep going. Okay.
PSVR these are refurbished. 2. Refurbished.
Oh, well, that's fine. Get refurbished. Always get refurbished. Fuck new. Inside Out, eye tracking, PSVR 2. Okay, yeah. So it looks like this is the one that doesn't come with the Horizon game.
Right. And I don't need the Horizon game.
Okay. Then yeah, that seems like a perfectly legit version to get.
Okay. So and if it's
But AC Wraith this also has a good point. The adapter will be another $60.
I'm okay with $60.
Yeah, he does. I wonder if there'll be a bundle.
This is San Francisco, dude. $60 is like a shrimp salad here. It's not. That's not an issue. It doesn't even register for me. $60.
$60. Oh yeah, I pay that to park.
Also, I got. I've been talking about how in other news, other Edie Land news, I was saying that my life has been very chaotic because I've been dealing with issues with my work and handling problems that other people made and kind of cleaning up the mess. And it's been very, very stressful. And after I did the show, that's when I got in the car to go to Sacramento for 3 days, 2 days, 3 days. Boss has called me in on Thursday and gave me a 20% raise. So I have a little extra to spend on this. That's why I'm not even questioning buying a PSVR headset because I'm kind of rewarding myself for this. So yeah. All right. So I will be buying it probably later today. Really? Should I refurbished for technology has me slightly concerned, especially when I'm purchasing it through GameStop. Because if it doesn't work, I have to go back to GameStop. And GameStop, I don't believe there's a significant concerns that I may buy this and then tomorrow GameStop goes under and then I'm fucked.
Well, they're not going to go under because Roy and Kitty just bought a whole bunch of more GameStop stock, and they're going to go to the moon.
No, he's just going. God, these people just don't understand. He is milking them. He is milking them for cash. But you know what? That's what meme stocks are: is people milking each other for cash, like NFTs and bit and crypto. They're just rich people taking advantage of poor people. And the sooner you all realize that, the better. All right, so I will be buying that by the end of the day.
Okay.
And then you and I can play multiplayer VR stuff.
Oh, that would be so cool. There's a fencing VR game that I tried playing as multiplayer only, and I was like, oh, let's try join a game. 15 minutes later, this game is not
I want to play what was it? Not Expanse. What was the one where it was the survival game after the plane crash? The Forest.
Oh, I don't know if the Forest is available in VR.
Yeah, it is. Is it not the Forest? It's the Forest. Forest is in VR. Yeah, the Forest VR is terrifying, atmospheric and clumsy all at once.
Okay, I think the Forest doesn't have PSVR 2 support, but Sons of the Forest does.
Sons of the Forest. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, the review of the Forest. This is from PC Gamer. Says the Forest VR is terrifying, atmospheric, and clumsy all at once. Clunky controls don't spoil your sense of place in an immersive, creepy world. Okay, but that's also from 2022, so I would imagine Sons of the Forest might be slightly better.
Oh no, wait! Sons of the Forest isn't on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, or Series XS. I think Sons of the Forest is PC exclusive now. And the Forest does not have VR support. So
yeah,
you cannot play Sons of the Forest in VR on PlayStation.
Yeah. Is the Forest on PSVR? If not, is it coming to it? It is not, and it is extremely unlikely at this point. This is somebody writing in Reddit. It's been over a year since N-Night updated PS4 version, and considering they're a small studio whose game blew up and now expected to come back with a killer sequel, I doubt they're putting any effort into the Forest. However, I believe it is very possible that Sons of the Forest could come to the PSVR and presumably larger and better detailed. So I'm really hoping for that. This is 4 years ago. Somebody wrote that.
Okay, so maybe don't hold your breath.
Well, no, PlayStation Store.
PlayStation Store only has the Forest.
Okay. PSVR used the Steam VR. PS4 VR used with Steam VR and the Forest. I have connected by PSVR to the PC and it's working with Steam VR as well, as I can see the first screen from the Forest. Okay, so people are trying to hack it. All right, so maybe not the Forest. But I'm sure there's another horror game that you would love to have me go VR into and terrify the crap out of me.
Oh, there's tons of good VR stuff.
I know, but like good VR, like multiplayer terrifying shit that would give me nightmares. And
let's see, can I search
for your amusement?
Can I search by PSVR compatible? I've got to be able to.
PSVR.
Yes, there we go. VR.
Well, when we get that connector, right, with PSVR to PC adapter, then we can play the Forest together.
Oh, yes, that's true, because you could get it on
PC.
But it would have to be VR enabled on PC anyways. And I don't know if Sons of the Forest actually does have a VR mode.
Does Sons of the... Well, we can play the Forest then on VR mode.
Oh, I guess the Forest... Does the Forest have VR like on Steam?
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Force on Steam is VR supported.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so yes, we could daisy chain hack compatibility.
No, we
to
just have to
play.
use the adapter. The adapter that's coming out in
Yes.
August. We get the adapter, and then we can play play the Forest VR on our PSVR headsets.
Yes, but that's still like kind of with daisy chaining of compatibilities.
Not really, because it's going to be compatible with a PC with the adapter. It's just like anything else. The
Okay,
Oculus is compatible with PC with an adapter.
I also have to find a horror game on PlayStation that we can use the.
Or something that you want to play multiplayer with me, PSVR, before that. So we'll figure it out. And then we will stream it. and people will laugh at Edie because that's what they do whenever stuff goes wrong. There you go. Over 600,000 people tune into Keith Gill's live stream return amid GameStop. Oh yeah.
Oh, he's.
That's fucking Raging Kitty or whatever his name is.
Anyways, my last story.
Okay.
Amazon announced that they are making a Yakuza TV show, but surprisingly, it's going to come out this October. So they already have a cast. They're probably already filming. It's going to be released in 3-episode batches. Because I guess it takes place in like 1995 and 2005.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and deals with Yakuza and them as kids, and then them 10 years later dealing with the repercussions of their actions that they did as kids.
Right.
But yeah, like 3-episode blocks. One set 1 week, then another set the other week, which is kind of a cool way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the turnaround from announcement to release is shockingly quick.
Uh-huh. Well, they would probably, they just didn't. They just made it a short announcement, which is a good thing.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's just
Speaking of Amazon Games, those part of the Summer Games Fest. The New World Eternium is releasing on PlayStation, on consoles. Actually, all consoles except Twitch. October 15th.
Yeah, but it's an MMO.
Yeah, but it's a fairly well received MMO.
That's true. It has been well received.
Right, exactly. A lot of people really like it. So anyway, I'm mildly interested in
if I was
TV shows.
Have you watched Fallout yet? Go watch Fallout.
Okay, I might do that.
Fallout's really fucking good.
You have to remember that I've got. Well, I guess I can say it now. Yeah, I've got this new boyfriend that's making me watch shit.
Yeah. Okay. You know what?
I haven't watched. Like,
make him watch shit instead of watching a movie. Just be like,
trying to.
Instead of watching a movie,
I made him watch one episode of Blue Eyed Samurai, and he was like, "Oh, this is good." But then every time we sit back down, I'm like, "Okay, another episode of Blue Eyed Samurai," and he's like, "No. How about we finish off the season of Ozark?" I'm like, "I've already watched almost entire season of Ozark. You watch one episode." And then I'm like, all right, okay. It's clearly Vincenzo, the K-drama that I'm talking about. Vincenzo hasn't sparked you. I'm going to abandon that. What you really need to watch is you need to see Daredevil. You need to see Daredevil and Jessica Jones or Jessica Jones. And he's like, I don't want to do any more series. I'm like, no. You need to watch Daredevil and or Jessica Jones.
Fallout is shorter than both of those shows. It's only 8 episodes. It's only 8 episodes. They go by so fast. It does such a good job building up mystery and then like providing answers, but still at the end teasing a much larger story.
Okay, here's the thing. You will need to pitch this to him because if I say it, he's not going to do it. You need to pitch it and tell us that we both need to watch it.
Wait. I feel like I'm missing some context for this comment. Remember Shin Godzilla and the first 2 Hellraiser movies, Edie?
No. Should I? This does not. This does not.
Is this a reference about Pinhead? But how does Godzilla fit in there?
I don't
Were you
understand.
trying to make him watch Shin Godzilla?
No?
But you wouldn't make him watch Hellraiser.
No.
Oh, we said we were going to get Edie to watch the Hellraiser movies a while back.
Who said that? I didn't say that. No.
Oh, I like this. Maybe. Oh, and Shin Godzilla because I keep getting you all to watch it in Discord. We should watch that one. That one,
Yeah.
you're more likely to get Edie
Yeah,
to
we might
watch.
have to watch Shin Godzilla in Discord tonight. Nick, Nick and you said it. Yeah, that sounds like something you two would say because it's like Hellraiser. Why would I have anything to do with
Hey, look, the
Hellraiser?
first Hellraiser movie doesn't have a whole bunch of supernatural stuff in it. It's kind of like an intense family drama that it's an intense family drama.
So is really Friday the 13th if you think about it.
Look, it's the first Hellraiser is an intense family drama about a wife and her ex-lover
Texas
who happens
Chainsaw Massacre really is just a love story gone wrong.
her ex-lover who just so happens to be missing his skin. You know, this woman tries to bring her ex-lover back to life and she succeeds, but she needs to keep killing people in order to feed his regenerative process. So he initially comes back as like a skeleton, then he grows muscles, and then he's just like a skinless freak that's like making out with her. And then eventually,
This does not sound like an Edie movie at all. Oh God,
and yet you'll
no.
watch Schoolgirls with monster legs.
See that makes that's the
Schoolgirls
the schoolgirl with
whose
her
legs-
shotgun legs. Oh yeah,
whose
absolutely.
legs turn into alligator mouths.
That was great. I love that one.
Look, I like to think I have a pretty high tolerance for weird in movies.
See, my weird has to go all the way out before I can watch it. If it doesn't go all the way, if it's even remotely like possible, then I want nothing to do with it. Just watch the first two, Edie. We won't make you watch the whole franchise. It goes off the rails. See, the rails is where I need to be.
You know what?
To watch these things.
Maybe we should start with Hellraiser 4 where they're in space. Because honestly, if I was going to pitch you on a Friday the 13th movie, I would pitch you Jason X in space. Because that one is so ungodly stupid that it turns around and becomes fantastic. It's the kind of movie where you're watching it just thinking, you know what? They've made 10 of these. So at a certain point, you just got to say, fuck it, throw stuff at the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. No, off the rails, like missing the plot and then being pasted on generic horror movies. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Although the Hulu Hellraiser was actually pretty good.
Here's why I can't watch Hellraiser with any of you now. You should have done this when I was single. Because the boy is a huge fan of horror movies. And
so now we have backup.
Constantly trying to make me watch scary stuff and I'm like, no, it will give me nightmares. And he keeps like you, like trying to convince me, oh no, it's a really sensitive story about a boy who was just misunderstood. It's like
that does apply to Friday the 13th. That's true.
No. So it's like a running joke about how like what was the movie that he just the one
In a Violent Nature?
In a Violent Nature. It's like, yeah, he really wanted me to see that. It's like, no, it's not happening. Like what I did with just walking away, he chased me around the house just to watch the trailer. And enjoyed every single second of chasing me around the house with that.
I will say, I watched that movie. It's okay. Imagine
he said there's pretty brutal stuff.
Oh, like if you go for like the slasher kills, it does have some good slasher kills, but that movie is like someone wanted to make an art house version of Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And
I'd be interested
I don't know if it
in
works, but it's at least interesting.
And I'd be interested in it, but now it's just a matter of principle because I have been chased by the two people in my life to try to convince me to do it.
I do acknowledge, as frustrating as it is, the more I push things, The moment I mention 3-body problem, it's just walls. The
Yeah.
moment I mention Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves,
He
steel
made
walls.
he made me watch that. I watched it.
Oh, how'd you like it?
Yeah.
Right, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
I don't want to say that.
It's
It's
good.
fine.
It's good.
I needed a lot more pot for that to be good,
It was good.
but it was fine. It didn't it was better than the alternatives that he was giving me, which were all horror movies. So it's like when you put it that way, I'm sure. Yeah, I'll watch that.
This is the trick to get Edie to watch what you want her to watch. Just put it amongst a bunch of horror movies. It's like a multiple choice question, but
Here's
there's
your
only
choice.
one
You can
right
do this, or that.
We can watch Hellraiser, Friday the 13th, In a Violent Nature, or Dungeons and Dragons.
Right. Or Better Call Saul. Okay, I'll take Better
Yeah.
Call Saul. I'll take the whole season. I take all the seasons of Better Call Saul before that happens.
I mean, that's also
a really good show, but I'm really not interested in seeing it. But anyway.
Anyways, bottom line is make him watch Fallout.
No, but if I saw even with you guys, and I love you guys, but if I saw a horror movie with you and not him, he would be really unhappy with you. Not with me. Maybe he'd probably be very unhappy with me, but he would be super unhappy with you guys. He would actually might even march onto the show and be like, why did you do this? Because then of course I'm gonna have nightmares and be like, yep, that's it, no more. And it's gonna be another decade before anybody can convince me
what
to
we
get
gotta
into a room
do
with a movie like that.
You know what we gotta do?
What?
We gotta get him in onto the horror stuff that we already know you will participate in.
Like what?
The Dark Picture anthologies.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'll bet he would love to play some of those with you. You're being chased by a serial killer. Which way do you go? Left or right?
Yeah. He probably would be okay with that. And because you can't, is it only 2-player? Or I can't remember. Can it play 3-player?
I think you can get up to 3.
I think that would be great. Is you, me, and him, and all you're doing is trying to terrify me. The whole game is just working together to make me miserable. And he says he's in Discord right now. Just got the notification. I'm on Discord.
He's just saying yes.
Yeah, the answer. He's probably in Discord about to have words with all of you about even me entertaining the idea of
creating a poll,
seeing Hellraiser. Right, creating a poll. The entertaining the idea of you guys possibly even remotely convincing me to see a single Hellraiser.
Yes, we don't need to convince you to see a movie if we can get you to play those games. I know you will play those games because we played them together.
He said, if you watched a horror movie with them, then I'd have an excuse to make you watch others. No, you wouldn't.
The dam has been opened.
No.
Well, see, look, we have to.
It's like 3-body problem. It's like, boom, no more. I got one. You made me not sleep. No.
We just have to ramp up like we did with me as a kid. We'll start you on like Goosebumps, then we'll like bring you up to Are You Afraid of the Dark from Nickelodeon. And
this is how we needed to word food choices for Nick.
Oh,
and AC Ray says, I'm fine with you watching as a couple. That would be a great way for you to meet him, is, you all ganging up against me. That's, all y'all's favorite Olympic sport is ganging up against the Edie and making her miserable.
As long as you watch the movies, we all win. The mistake is thinking that we're all on our opposing sides.
No, you're all going to be one
Edie
side and everybody else.
So as long as you watch the movie, like, we all win. It's a communal victory.
Yeah, actually, you know what? What the thing is that if I watch that movie with you, what's going to be the number one watch thing on that video, in that stream? Is me. Everybody's going to be watching me not enjoying that film. I am going to be the star of that show, and I don't want to be that star. I don't want to think that
Then don't
everybody's
watch- don't-
watching me lose
Then
my
don't watch it
shit.
on stream. Don't watch it on stream.
No, just please stop. Don't make me do this, guys. I love you to death.
Did you ever
know that? But please don't make me do this. Yep, you just went fuzzy.
Yeah, I know. I set up. Did you ever watch X-Files?
Put your hand over there.
There
We
we
go.
go.
All right. Did I
Did
ever
you ever watch
it?
X-Files?
I watched it quite a bit.
Okay.
But remember, that was the day when I had no problem watching movies. It wasn't until about
Oh.
10 or 12 years ago. Yeah, it's about 10 years ago when, my life started falling apart that I started noticing that when I watched scary movies that they would get into my brain and I would dream them and then wake up screaming.
Mm.
And I discovered that watching the first episode. Granted, there had been I think Walking Dead had already started and had been like halfway through and everybody's like, it's the greatest thing ever. And I watched the first episode of Walking Dead, and I went to bed, and that was it. I realized that was a bad idea. I was up all night. Every time I closed my eyes, I was being chased by zombies. It was no fun. And that's when I woke up and told Kevin, I can't, you're going to have to watch Walking Dead without me, because I can't do that again to myself, that I just keep waking up in a cold sweat, panting, burning up, and like screaming, and like all of the covers on the bed just like balled up around me and around my like throat, and just I mummified myself, which of course didn't make me feel any better and not less scary, because I was physically being restrained by my own bedclothes. So
it's just a downward spiral.
Yeah, it was a downward spiral. And that was when I said, okay, I can't do this anymore. Because up to that point, remember I always said that's how I knew it was a really good video game. If I dreamt the game,
Yeah.
like Mass Effect, for the entire time I played Mass Effect, I dreamt Mass Effect every single night. I was in the game, and that was wonderful. I loved it. Dragon Age Origins, same thing. I'd go to bed and I was back in that game, having a great time. Absolutely loved that. Then I watched Walking Dead, went to bed. I was in that movie, and it was like, no, we're not doing that. Clearly, my brain has become,
I want to go back to Dragon Age.
Yeah, very impressionable. My brain absorbs whatever I'm watching, and I take it to bed with me. And I don't want that to be Dragon Age. I mean, I don't want that to be zombie movies or scary movies. So that was it. That was it. That was the end of it. So to answer your question, if it was older than 10 years ago, if it predated Walking Dead, I absolutely watched it and absolutely loved it. Loved horror movies as a kid. Loved horror movies as a kid. Loved the well, I wasn't that crazy about the Saw movies, but
they had the moment.
Yeah.
I will say the most interesting thing about the Saw movies is the fact that like Saw 3, 4, 5, and 6 all take place in the exact same period of time.
Right.
The lore and timeline of those movies gets so bonkers. That's kind of more interesting than the movies themselves.
Is Legion the one with Will Smith and the dog?
No, that's I Am Legion.
I Am Legion. Yeah. See, I watched that. I saw that in the theaters.
Legion is a TV show with Dan Stevens that's like really good.
Okay.
It's like an artsy superhero show.
He says, we can now prove that you sleep soundly after a horror film with the Aura ring. They told you about that ring.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, we can actually track your nightmares.
You can actually track my nightmares. Yeah. I have had a nightmare or two with them on, and absolutely you can see, like, because it tracks not only your wakefulness, but it also tracks your heartbeat, so that you can see your heartbeat spike to 90, and then you see when I've woken up. Like, you can tell not only when I'm dreaming, but what my heart rate is at that same time, so that you can actually see the nightmare.
That's kind of cool. Hey, you know what? You know it's working then.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite movies is probably one of the most fucked up scary movies of all time. Not scary, but disturbing movies of all time. One of my favorite movies is, and I saw it in the theater. I actually saw it as a preview when I was living down in Los Angeles, was Jacob's Ladder.
Okay.
Jacob's Ladder was a
Yeah.
messed up fucking movie. Messed up movie if you haven't seen it.
So much of what makes Silent Hill is taken from that movie.
Abso-freaking, and I loved the first Silent Hill. Scared the crap out of myself. Could not play it at night. And I loved how I could not play it at night. Love that film. Love that game. But that was before the brain changed. And then the brain changed. And now I have to respect the brain. And the brain says, please don't give us things that whatever you see, we're going to play back later. So pick a comedy.
Pick a comedy or a fucked up Korean drama.
Fucked up Korean drama. Right.
Okay. Well,
he says it's a scientific opportunity. You know, sir, you could get into the chat room, just saying, and meet the fam. But then if you do, there will be questions.
So, okay, I will, now that we talked about Silent Hill,
yes,
I will segue into what I've been not playing, but what I've been creating.
Okay, let's do this.
So,
what have you been doing?
I have been making this is the Ein Odin 2. It's like a handheld Android device that basically I've used for emulation. Pick a console.
Where did you get this line? You did not come up with that line, AC.
As a kid, I was scared of the dog. Then I became the dog and is likely more afraid of me. That sounds like Batman.
It does sound like
Batman. That's totally something Batman would say. But okay. Oops. No, let me go back.
We have to be hurry because you can see that it's coming. The light is growing.
Pick a console.
It's coming. Pick
Super Nintendo.
Let me make you solo here.
PSP.
We're gonna make you solo. All right.
Okay. Pick a console.
Oh, jeez.
Which one do you want to see?
GameCube, 3DS,
Wii, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, PSP, PS2, DS, 64.
Oh,
GameCube.
Wow. Oh, wow. That is very
just pick
impressive. Pick one. Do you want me to pick one?
Yeah, pick one.
Keep going. PSP, PS2. Let's go PS2.
Okay. PS2. Going into there. Pick a game.
Oh God. You're gonna have to put it closer because I can't see what those games are. Let's see what we got. Tony Hawk.
Okay, Proving Ground, Project 8.
There we go, Proving Ground.
Okay. Yeah. Start that. It takes a while to load.
Yeah.
But it'll just load into the game.
This is terrifying, Nick. Do you own all of those games or
most of them in one form or another? But also, there you go, see?
That's insane. Wow.
I will say it's been an interesting road to go down. And like a lot of the stuff that I downloaded, the truth is you can't get it anymore. Right?
True.
Anything from like the PS2 days you can't get.
Right.
Looking at later emulation, because I did look at Switch emulation. Because I would like, if we go on a trip, to only take this and not have to take my Switch.
Right.
But the thing is, a lot of the things I want to play on the Switch are newer games.
Yeah. So then you're really going to have to like go over to the dark side.
No, because what I realized is that the Switch emulator that Nintendo recently had shut down, Yuzu, it has a compatibility list. That compatibility list ends kind of like several years ago.
Okay.
So basically, you can't play a lot of new games. There are ROMs available for new games like almost the day they come out. A game comes out, you can download it. Whether or not that ROM actually plays well on an emulator is a completely different beast entirely.
Mhm.
You can download the ROM for any game, but most of those games don't actually run well.
Interesting. Okay, so AC Wraith says, I had yet another dream about a non existent 8-bit game console I apparently own in other universes. What's worse is I still remember how to play through some of the games. You got a crazier dreamscape than I
Story mode,
do.
new story.
Oh my gosh.
And if I want, I just like hit the back button, exit game.
Oh, wow. Insane. That is, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of cool. That is really cool. How long did it take you to set that up?
Couple weeks.
Yeah.
A lot of it was spent just kind of learning how to configure the emulators,
Mhm.
and about 2 weeks was spent downloading everything.
You've been having this dream for decades?
What?
Really? He's been having this dream about this non-existent 8-bit game console that he owns in a different universe for
Oh,
decades.
okay. Weirdly, that reminds me of a game that was announced. I think it was the Day of the Devs.
Uh-huh.
It's called UFO 50.
Okay, let me see if I can get to it here. It is
It's a collection of 50 retro games
Mhm.
from a console that never existed. So the developers basically invented a fake console that
Okay.
lasted from like 95. It lasted for like 6 years.
Uh-huh.
They developed 50 games for this fake console that in this weird fiction, alternate fiction they created, tracks with the technology of the console. So
Oh,
like
that's somebody thinking way too hard about this stuff.
they
Wow.
have retro games from the first year the console was out. Then they have a bit more technologically advanced retro games from like the 6th year that the console was out, because by then developers have gotten better at developing for it.
Oh god.
But
So it's like a full alternate reality
it's
that
a
they have bought into.
yeah, a full complete alternate console. But some of these games, like, they actually kind of look cool.
Yeah, they do. Gosh, look at this. Yeah, it's funny, a lot of them, wish list that on Steam yesterday. Yeah, I could see that being
That's
all about
that's
UAC.
that's literally your dream come true.
Yeah, it really, really is. And it's funny that there a lot of these games, you can see the inspiration of real games, of existing games that it comes from,
Yeah,
but they're different. Interesting.
yeah. I thought that is someone going so far down the
So
rabbit
far,
hole.
yeah, exactly. That's just buying in. This is almost psychotic.
Uh, Also, as AC Wraith said, I've been having this recurring dream for decades. I even thought I found one of the games on a known system, and I was happy I wasn't crazy until I woke up.
Oh god. Are you sure you didn't create this UFO 50 pack? Because this sounds like something you absolutely would have done.
Yeah,
By the way, that line, as a kid, I was scared of the dark, and then I
oh
became the dark,
yeah.
and it's likely more afraid of me. He says, "It's all me. It's true. I annoyed my cousins with the lights when they stayed over."
Hmm.
Good line.
Okay.
Very good line. I may borrow. You might have to borrow that, Nick, for one of your stories, and then give like special credit
Yeah.
to AC Rave.
They
All
really
right.
just sound like something bad.
Anything else before we end this show? Because we probably should end this show, because I
Yes.
mean we are
I'm
now 3 hours 7 minutes in, and I do need to wash the dogs and do some like laundry and stuff.
Yeah, basically I'm so close to
Oh
finishing
no. Oh
Dragon's
no, no, no,
Dogma.
no. I just got a notification. Keep your family away from the Todd Hotel downtown. Lots of police activity, cops with guns. Okay. Cool. All right. Looks like
You're not
I'm
gonna walk past the Todd
indoors.
Hotel.
No, Todd Hotel is 1 block away from me. I'm
Oh,
indoors as of now. In fact, stand
oh.
by. I'm gonna go lock my doors. Be right back.
Well, no news comes up on Google.
All right. No, it wouldn't. It's like if it's happening right now, it wouldn't be. It would be on our next door page, and I will be going there immediately. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, that's never happened before. But it's the nice thing about being connected to the neighborhood is anybody wets a bed in this town, and I'm going to get a text about it. For Frell's sake, Edie, if there's no danger, don't turn off the camera. It's a good point. No, I will. I'm fine. I'm fine. But yeah. So yeah, that literally just came over the over my texts. So Hellraiser tonight in Discord.
I don't know. Maybe you're living next door to a Hellraiser
No.
thing.
No.
Did someone try to summon Pinhead?
If you want me
in
to
the Todd
watch
Hotel?
Hellraiser, let's create some ground rules, okay?
No, we don't need to watch Hellraiser. There are plenty of other horror movies we could watch.
Okay. If you want me to watch a horror movie, you can all do a poll, figure out what horror movie you want me to watch. We will be watching it in Discord and I will have my camera on. That being said, here's the ground rules. You have to all agree upon the movie. I will lay down 2 ground rules. 1, no fucked up sexual assaults and or like violence against women, that kind of way. All right, period, the end. None of that. 2, we have to screen this on a weekend during the day. I'm not watching it at night. It's the earlier the better, because that way I can do something to get my mind out of whatever space it was in when I watch that movie and go do something else that hopefully will break wherever my brain is so that I cannot dream about it that night. Okay?
Fair.
So, daytime.
Was there a knock at the door?
Yeah, I'm just not sure what's going on. No, it has to be during the day, and the sexual violence thing. That's the only thing that I care about.
Okay.
Now, if you want me to enjoy it, make sure it's as ludicrous as possible. Absolutely ludicrous. The more extreme and silly, the better, because then that's not going to. But if you really want to terrify me and make me leave my camera in Outlast, it's still sitting there in Outlast. Then you'll want to like something like The Ring. I loved The Ring.
Okay.
I couldn't watch it now, but I loved The Ring when it came
Ring
out.
was really good.
Ring was really good. So it's not that this is a relatively new thing for me. So all right.
What?
What?
Fuck, what's it called?
What?
Is it House? Is that the House horror movie?
The House, you mean Amityville Horror?
No, House. No, not the 1985 horror comedy. No, it's House.
If you wanted to be Thanksgiving, we can watch Thanksgiving.
No. House is a 1977 experimental Japanese comedy horror film.
Okay.
It's fucking weird.
Of course it is. Try to make it something that I might enjoy, and also make it something that I could say that somebody's like, oh, you've never seen a Friday the 13th. I could say, yeah, no, I saw one, and then somebody made me watch it, and I don't want to watch anymore.
Okay. I mean,
or Hellraiser. You've never seen Hellraiser? No, I've never seen Hellraiser. Well, now I want to be able to say, yes, I've seen Hellraiser. Didn't like it. Hellraiser is like that. Yeah, that's what I said. See, being a classic definitely gives it bonus points. But this is going to be a committee decision. I will not, beyond those 2 ground rules, I will not offer any any advice. I will not offer any input. It is your call. 10, and of course, the boy has sent me a link to an article of the 10 scariest horror movies ever. Would we like to go over that?
Okay.
All right. So let me pull this up here for you.
I feel like if we actually wanted to get you interested, a better one would be like a list of horror movies for newbies or something
Right.
like that.
Okay. Exorcist, saw it. Hereditary, didn't see it.
Yeah, Hereditary's good.
The Conjuring, didn't see it.
Conjuring is good too. More like classic horror movie.
Shining, saw it.
Shining sucks. I hate The Shining.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, saw it.
Yeah, it's good.
The Ring, saw it.
Good.
Halloween, I didn't see Halloween, but
Halloween,
it's
I'm
Halloween.
not sure. I'm not sure if Halloween holds up.
Yeah.
It's a little boring by today's standards.
Sinister, didn't see it.
Sinister is shockingly good.
Okay. Insidious, didn't see it.
Insidious also shockingly good.
It. Did I ever see it?
Yeah, the two-parter one that came out
yeah.
recently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw the original It. So
Yeah, the remakes were good. Although I would not put them on a list of the scariest movies.
Yeah. Well, that's Rotten Tomatoes, officially the scariest movies.
Really?
I heard they're redoing Exorcist.
They're
remaking it.
They came out with a sequel that was not very well received.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're working on another sequel.
So if you want to pick anything from that list, or if there's any other classic like the Hellraiser type that you want to do, it is 100% up to you. As long as we meet those two ground rules, I'm good. He says just the results of a poll. That's all it was.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead, put yourself together, AC Wraith, or if somebody's going to have to put together the poll and put it on there, because I'm not going to assist y'all in torturing me, but I will allow you to do it.
Ooh, okay. I just Googled best horror movies.
Uh-huh.
Upgrade is on Netflix. It's not necessarily a horror movie, more of like kind of a dark action thriller, but it's good.
Yeah.
I kind of love Upgrade. Under Paris is a shark movie that just came out that's actually gotten really favorable reviews comparing it to Jaws.
A shark movie? I thought you said a shock movie.
No, Shark.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a shark is loose in the Seine during a triathlon, and it's about this one cop's attempt to like contain the shark before the triathlon gets to the swimming part. But
okay,
like,
keep in mind. All right, another thing to keep in mind is I am a scuba diver, and that might be a really bad thing. I might, that might affect my ability to be able to enjoy the thing I enjoy,
okay,
scuba diving. Try not to leave any lasting scars.
Don't breathe. Don't breathe.
Tell you.
Really
I can't make you do that because I do have only those two. But keep in mind there may be long lasting implications of everything that you show me. Consider me the equivalent of a 7-year-old kid that you are taking to an NC-17 movie. How badly do you want to scar this child?
Ooh, okay. I'm getting a list of movies that are like horror adjacent, but also still kind of funny.
Okay.
Freaky, which imagine Freaky Friday, except the high school girl switches bodies with the serial killer.
Okay. All right.
That one's actually pretty good.
All right.
Barbarian is a really intense movie that just kind of keeps ratcheting up the absurdity. But
we have such sights to show you.
Oh, we really do. Barbarian is good, and Bodies.
Oh God, really? That's the name of it?
Bodies. Bodies is like a millennial. No, not millennial. What's the people after millennials? Gen Z?
Gen Z.
It's like a Gen Z slasher flick that's it's good.
Okay.
Let's see. I could
I mean,
put together
you
a
could
really good
conceivably
list.
fuck up scuba diving. You could fuck up camping. You could fuck up cabins for me. There's a lot of things that you could fuck up for me for the rest of my life. Just saying. So choose wisely. because you're gonna get one shot at this.
Ooh, Crawl was good. Crawl was about a girl stuck in the house with an alligator during a flood.
Oh God! Ugh. Even just thinking about that, I don't know if I made the right decision here.
Crawl is good. And look, I'm looking at movies that are like not super hardcore horror.
Okay.
Synchronic is just a good sci-fi movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Crawl might be good. Crawl, Freaky, Barbarian, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Ooh, You're Next. You're Next is also a good one. Ready or Not's really good.
Cabin in the Woods might be too meta, but it's tempting. AC Ray says. Anybody else have any recommendations of how to
True.
torture me?
Ooh, The Menu.
He says Cujo's good for dog people.
The Menu.
It's not going to make me get rid of my dogs, no matter what. It's not going to make me get rid of my dogs. And saw Cujo. Saw Cujo, saw Christine, saw them all.
Did you see Shaun of the Dead? You must have seen.
Of course, I
Shaun
saw
of the Dead.
Okay. Shaun of the Dead is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay, good. I'm just going through this list.
It's a zombie movie with a happy ending. There you go. That's all I need to know. So why don't you take it to Discord to figure out, just put together a list and do a poll and figure it out. And then later on, you can figure out what day you want to do it to me. Oh no, I don't like that look.
No,
I really don't like that look.
You want something that goes off the rails.
Yeah.
I got the movie that goes off the rails.
Okay.
Oh, Malignant.
I don't even like the name of it. All right. Who in the chat room knows the movie Malignant?
I need to get a notepad. I need to be writing the shit down.
You are so excited to be doing this. Oh my God.
Well, that's because
you and Chris do make the perfect couple. You really do. You're ideal for each other.
That's because I'm finding a lot of horror movies. Like I said, a lot of these movies are not like, we want to scare you, we want you to feel bad. A lot of these are movies that kind of use horror tropes, but are like just a little off, a little weird, a little goofy in a way that, makes them not nightmare material. I don't want to give you nightmares.
Oh, Nick, that is so sweet. I assumed that you would want to give me nightmares because
no, I'm
the boy does. The boy absolutely wants to give me nightmares. He thinks the concept is hilarious.
I'm looking at the movies that I think. Oh, geez,
that's not me. That was.
No, that's our fire alarm.
Oh my God! What the fuck is going on? Do you need to evacuate?
I don't think so. Hold on.
All right. What is going on? Why is it as soon as we start talking about horror movies and I'm a little freaked out, we've got a police action going on a block away and I have to lock my doors and Nick's what is going on? Cujo is just is an old Yeller fanfic. All right, I'm gonna mute Nick's thing. Come on, just mute. There we go. We'll wait till he comes back. Hopefully he will, and if not, then we'll be ending the show a little bit early. All right. So anybody else have any other suggestions for movies? Hopefully Nick is not dying. But what is the chance of all of this happening as soon as I get just a little bit triggered by the idea of horror movies, that all of a sudden all of this stuff goes down? But if you do have a suggestion for a movie, I am more than willing to take it. Let me see if I can pull up some scary. By the way, the things that really mess with me is things that are chasing, and psychological, paranormal, horror movies. Also things, really bloody is not too much, but disturbingly bloody is bad. Like torturing people. Saw I could absolutely not watch now because it's actual torture. Watching, I'm I am a very empathetic person. So I see people being tortured and that has me concerned. All right, let me unmute Nick. Nick, are you having to evacuate or what's going on?
No, I'm not gonna evacuate. These fucking fire alarms go off enough that I'm more annoyed than worried.
Really? AC Ray says, unfortunately, I'm limited by Gen X movie knowledge with a few updates. How long does it usually take for the alarm to go away?
I don't know.
By the way, did you notice how much I jumped? Nick, absolutely. Now you know what you're working with. I absolutely jump. And it's kind of funny because, of course, another one of the things I like to do is I like to fire rifles. I like to go to the shooting range and fire rifles. And even though I like firing rifles, I still jump from other people shooting. Even at the range, I will still jump from a loud noise. It's one of the reasons why I could never be a competitive shooter, even though I'm very, very good at it, is because loud noises make me jump and always have. That's a universal. That's always been the case. So I am looking up. Psychological thrillers are bad for me. It's torture films, very, very bad. Like Saw. Yeah, no, I will hate every single moment of a Saw movie. I absolutely that talk about torture. That is torture for me. Is somebody evil torturing non-evil people. But again, another one of my favorite movies is the original, was it The Cube? Where the 6 people were all stuck in the cube. I love that movie.
The Cube is good.
The Cube was really good. I really liked that movie. Of course, it was before I started having issues, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
a
good.
lot of the sequels less good, but that first one is good.
Yeah, I'm not into torture porn. I like monster and demon stuff. That's true. So, you know what we could do, Nick? We could actually take this conversation to Discord so you don't have to keep turning on and off your microphone because we are now almost 3 hours and 30 minutes into this conversation. Nick says, oh, he's got a list.
I've got a list. I'll make a poll.
All right. It says Malignant Crawl, Happy Death Day, The Menu, Bodies, 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 Barbarian, Freaky, You're Next, Ready or Not. Anybody else want to add anything? I'm looking to see if Discord. We've got the meats. The only one about Arby's manager that needs to find another source of meat. Nick hasn't even heard of that one. We've got the meats. Where's
I'm looking
Hellraiser?
for not Nightmare Fuel movies.
No, you need to add Nightmare Fuel to this list because if that's what people want is Nightmare Fuel, then if we're gonna do this, I've only made 2 ground rules. So if you want it to be Nightmare Fuel and the peanut gallery speaks and wants to make it not Nightmare Fuel, it's got to be that. I accept that.
I didn't
Thank
see
you
this
for the
comment
link.
before, but this is great.
What? Cujo is it's just an older fanfic. It kind of is. I mean, that's what Stephen King did say is that it was essentially Old Yeller, his version of it. We've got the meats, really, about an Arby's manager. God. How do these things get made? How do they get money to make movies like this? I don't understand. All right. Nick is still working. It's like he has homework. It's like I've given him a reason to try. He says just a joke. Is it really not a real movie? Because if it isn't a real movie, it needs to be. All right. So Nick, can we stop now? Can we please stop now? I mean, this is still technically an audio podcast at this point. We have not closed out of the audio podcast. All right. In fact, we only stop on the closed audio podcast when we actually turn off the stream. So all of this has to go up on our Discord page or on our Libsyn. And we have a limited bandwidth per week that we can put up, okay, before it starts costing me extra money. So that being said, can we close out this show, Nick, please? Can we close this out? All right. Nick is indicating, go ahead, fine. All right. So this is why I hate my Discord or how I hate StreamYard so much sometimes. All right. Let's close this out. Sorry. You've been listening to GameHounds. Sorry about that. You've been listening to GameHounds episode 719. We did record this on Sunday, June 9th, 2024. I'm Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick Nicola. If you want to get a hold of us, gamehounds.net is our website. Gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and of the platform formerly known as Twitter, now X.com. So on Facebook, we are the GameHounds. On YouTube, we are GameHounds Vids, VIDS as in videos. On Twitch, we are the GameHounds. And on Twitter, /X, we are at GameHounds. Feel free to join us next week in the chat room. Thank you to everybody who was in the chat room. It's at this point way too long for me to go back into it. But Discord, it has been mentioned a couple of different times. I am putting on the screen right now, there is our Discord channel. If you are listening to the audio show, please go to the notes for GameHounds podcast on iTunes. You will see our Discord link there. Please join us in the Discord to vote on this. Also, if you do want to look for us on Discord, we are GameHounds, GAME, capital HOUNDS, GameHounds on Discord. You probably can find us. Everybody who we are 100% Patreon funded. If you are a Patreon funder, thank you so much. You're the ones that actually keep us going. You're the ones that keep the lights on. $1 a month is all we ask. If you want to help offset the costs for all of this to happen, patreon.com/GameHounds. And if you are watching currently on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, take a moment to hit the thumbs up button or the like button or whatever it is. And if you can subscribe, please do subscribe or follow or whatever it is on your platform. It does make a very big difference for us if someone can, and I'm getting blasted by the light here. It does make a very big difference if you do this, and if you, it helps other people find us. And moreover, it helps you find us when we go live next week. Sundays, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Have a great week, everyone. We will talk to you later. And again, if you have any questions for me, the AMA on the boy, or if you want to vote on the poll about what movie you're going to torture me with, go to the Discord. Have a great week, everyone, and we will talk to you later. Bye. All right. Can we go now, please?
Yes.
All right. Oh, God, that is loud. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Everyone, thank you so much. I'm getting blasted out by the sun. Nick is getting blasted out by the alarm. Have a great week. I'll see you probably in the next 10 minutes in the Twitter as soon as or in the Discord, as soon as I walk the dogs and hopefully don't get murdered in the street. Talk to y'all later. Bye.